Chapter 741. If you can cure third brother, we are willing to follow you, Fengji said. She didn't threaten them with Shichen's life right away. Instead, she waited until his condition stabilized before telling them about this matter. This made them feel very comfortable. Okay. Sima Yue nodded. 7 bottles of blood will ease your pain for 7 days. I'll come back in 7 days. This is Feng, or my younger brother. He will be the sect master of our sect in the future. Aren't you the sect master? Feng Kai asked. I'm lazy. I don't like to take care of so many things, Sima Yue said. I am only on the surface, the real sect master is her. Shimin Feng explained. Do you have any objections? Sima Yue asked. Fengji shook his head. Originally, he was a little unhappy because the person they wanted to follow was her, and not her younger brother. However, as long as the real sect master was her, they naturally had no objections. I'll be back in 7 days. Sima Yue said. Remember, you can't let him do anything in these 7 days. He can't cultivate or use spirit energy. If you think he can't do it, then just knock him out and throw him aside. The corner of Shichen's mouth twitched. His credibility shouldn't be that low, right? Ine and Kongren looked at him thoughtfully, as if they were really considering Sima Yue's suggestion. I won't use my spiritual energy, you don't have to look at me like that. He glared at the two of them. I think it's better to knock him out to prevent any accidents. You see, agreed. It's actually good for his body to faint. If you guys agree, it's better to make him faint. Sima Yue threw a pill to Fengji. Feng, let's do it. Shimin Feng carried Little Roar and left. Once they left, Fengji let Shichen eat the pill. This isn't to make you faint, but just in case. Fengji said. Big brother. Shichen looked at his brother helplessly. For you it's just a nap. When you wake up, your body will be completely healed. Third brother, eat it. Feng Kai also said. Third brother, we will feed you the auspicious beast blood on time every day. Several younger brothers also looked at him eagerly. All right then. In order to reassure you. Shichen took the pill and swallowed it. Soon he felt a little drowsy. He went back to his room and fell asleep. Ine helped Shichen back to sleep, while the others stayed in the hall to discuss what happened today. Kongren took a bottle of blood and smelled it, saying, This auspicious beast is gentler than the others. I think it's a bit funny, Dai said. Who has ever seen a contractor and a contracted beast get along like this? Everyone couldn't help but laugh when they recalled how they had threatened each other earlier. They really didn't look like master and servant, but more like family. Big brother, if she really cures third brother, our future days will change, Hongwu said. All these years, I've been living a life of being chased and on the run. If I can really stand in front of a crowd in the future, I don't know if I can get used to it. Tao Hongxing said. Our future life might be even more exciting. You see said. I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Feng Kai didn't agree with their words. To establish a sect and grow to the point where other sects won't dare to bully us, I don't know how long it will take. There's always hope, Kongren said. And I feel that with her around, this day won't be too far away. 10th brother is right. This is always something to look forward to, Hongwu said. I'm really looking forward to it, Tao Hongxing said faintly. After Sima Yue went back, she first made a delicious meal for Little Roar. Only then did the little guy's sad eyes disappear. Yu, I lost so much blood today. You have to make me something to eat to replenish my blood. Little Roar finished eating the beggar's chicken in his hand and requested. People eat eggs when they bleed. You've already eaten a chicken and still haven't replenished enough. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. I lost so much blood. How can a chicken make up for it? Little Roar flew to Sima Yue's side and grabbed her sleeves to act spoiled. Your oil is all on my clothes. Sima Yue looked at the oil stains on her clothes with disdain, but she didn't throw him away. Yu. Not only did Little Roar wipe the oil off his claws, he even used his head to rub other places. The oil stains on the side of his mouth were also on it. Sima Yue poked his head and said, Say it. What else do you want to eat? Roasted little birds. Little Roar said without hesitation. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Wasn't this a threat that they used to constantly say? No little birds. She rejected. We got so many little birds that time. We haven't finished eating them. I want to eat that. Little Roar said. Sima Yue then remembered that when she had just arrived in the primordial lands and fought with the goshawks, she had indeed collected many goshawk corpses. With Little Spirit's special preservation method, the things were still the same as when they were first thrown away. It was much better than the refrigerator on Earth. Since Little Roar wanted to eat, she went to get a wing to roast. Therefore, when someone came to the courtyard, they would see a huge plate. In a small corner, a small meatball was gnawing on a roasted wing that was much bigger than its body. Its little tail would move from time to time, and its entire body seemed to want to drill into the wing. Sima Yue didn't bother about it after she finished roasting it. She entered the house and entered the spirit pagoda. Previously, Su Jin and the rest were all here, so she didn't have the chance to enter. Now that she was here, the first thing she did was to look at Little Seven. A faint mist enveloped Little Seven. Little Seven had transformed into its original form and was hibernating. Its body was slowly changing in the mist. This thing is here. Those spirit herbs are growing better. Little Spirit appeared and said, although I had some guesses before, I didn't think that it would be like this. She really is. Sima Yue sighed. If Little Seven really stayed by her side in the future, she was afraid that she would have to worry a lot. No wonder Yuan Xiaojie and the rest wanted to lock her up in the inner courtyard and not let her out. If people knew about her identity, the entire continent would tremble, and the sky would change color. Then what do you plan to do? Little Spirit asked. His face had a different seriousness than before. She said that by staying by my side, she felt that there was a chance for her to evolve. Maybe after this evolution she will leave. Sima Yue said. She didn't know how to deal with it. She would just take one step at a time. These few days help me pay attention to the situation outside. I need to go into closed-door cultivation to refine pills for Shurchin. If there's nothing urgent, don't call me. After she finished speaking, she went into the pill refining room. Chapter 742. A few moments later, Sima Yue came out of the spirit pagoda. The first thing she saw was Rainbow chatting happily with Rainbow. Brother, you're out. Kaihong smiled and waved at Sima Yue. Sima Yue walked over and asked, what are you guys talking about? You look so happy. We were talking about Little Roar. Rainbow said, you don't know this, but these few days when you weren't around, Little Roar kept running outside to take liberties with other people. He was ruthlessly taught a lesson. It went out to play rogue again? Sima Yue regretted not bringing Sima Yue into the spirit pagoda when she was not around. It didn't go looking for anyone else. It only went to Fengji's side and flirted with their brothers, showing that Nine and the others wanted to beat it up when they saw it. Chongming said. Sima Yue heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that she did not go out to provoke others. In her mind, Fengji and the others were already her people. It was fine for Little Roar to tease them. Yu Sanyang came to look for you before. I told her that you were in seclusion. She asked you to look for her after you came out. Chongming said. Got it. Is there anything else for the next few days? She asked. It's nothing. However, the number of people coming to Qingqing has increased recently. You came to kill me. No, they are here for Fengji and the others. Chongming said. The news of the 10 great villains being here has spread, and those who have a grudge against them have all chased after them. How are they doing now? Sima Yue was shocked. A few were injured, but they are not serious. Halcyon said. What about Shurchen? How is he? He fainted on the day you went there. He didn't wake up from the beginning to the end, nor did he participate in the battle. Chongming said. Yesterday, Nine was still saying that it was lucky that you let them knock him out. Otherwise, with his character, he definitely wouldn't stand by and do nothing. I thought of this possibility at the time, and that's why I made them do it. Sima Yue said. They definitely can't stay in the courtyard from before. Where are they now? At Sanyang's place. At Sanyang's place? Sanyang came to find me because of this? No. Sanyang came to find you on the second day of your seclusion. Feng and the others only then did they move in. Halcyon said, "But don't worry, Yulin and Hongwu set up an array together. Those people haven't entered Third Aunt's house yet." "Is Sanyang's array master?" "Yes." "Then let's go take a look at their situation." Sima Yu said as she walked towards the door. "They dug a tunnel." Halcyon said, "Although it was Doug's, it's US. Of you say. It's at that time. It." She walked for a while and arrived at Sanyang's house. Sanyang's courtyard was right outside. You're here?" Little Wu, who had sensed the commotion, came out to see what was going on. When she saw Sima Yu, she smiled and greeted her. Everyone in the house heard Xiao Wu call her name and came out. "Yue, you're finally out," Aniane said. Sima Yu saw that Aniane was injured and said, "Didn't you say it was a small injury? Why do you look so serious?" "In order to attract the attention of those people, we went to the place where we used to live," Aniane said. "Yue." Sanyang Du came out from another house. "Sanyang." Sima Yu walked over and said apologetically, "I've caused you trouble." "It's no trouble, it's just closing the shop," Sanyang Du said. "Even without this incident, my shop won't be open for more than 2 days." Since she planned to follow Sima Yu and build up her power, she naturally wouldn't continue to stay in this small Qing city. Sima Yu also understood this and didn't continue talking about it. Instead she asked, "Where's Shichen?" "He's in the house," Aniane said. "Luckily you let him sleep, otherwise he wouldn't be able to use spiritual energy these few days." "I'll go take a look." Sima Yu went in and saw Shichen lying on the bed. She first checked his pulse and made sure he was fine before giving him a pill. Soon Shichen's eyes moved and his eyelids slowly opened. His gaze was still a little dazed. When he saw Sima Yu and Aniane at the side, he slowly regained consciousness. "Sixth brother, you're injured? What happened?" he asked. "It's nothing," Yusi said. "You're all injured. How can you be fine?" Shichen didn't believe him and struggled to get up. "Even if something happened, it has nothing to do with you now." Sima Yu glared at him and said, "What you need to do now is to quickly recover from your injuries. Otherwise, no matter what happens, you can only be their burden." Shichen wanted to refute, but found that he had no strength to. "You're my people now. With me here, what can happen to them?" Sima Yu said. "Here, this is a pill. Eat it, and you'll be able to be with them in 2 ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** couldn't believe it. After eating it, the cold that had trapped him for so many years would really be cured? Don't underestimate this. It's not an exaggeration to say that this pill is worth 100 million middle-grade crystals. Sima Yue said. Plus the blood of the auspicious beast that you drank these few days. Do you think your injuries are easy to heal? I'm not doubting it. It's just that at this moment, I feel like I'm in a dream, Shirchen said. You'll know in a while whether you're dreaming or not. Sima Yue smiled unkindly. Why? Anayani asked. Because the process will make him hover between life and death in pain. With such pain, how can he still feel like he's in a dream? Sima Yue said. Is it that painful? Chapter 743. Poof. Xiao Wu Rainbow, and the others laughed unkindly. Yue, I'm serious. Anayani said. I'm serious too. Sima Yue said. The pain of being skinned, the pain of having one's tendons pulled out, the pain of having one's bones removed, and the pain of having one's marrow removed. Why is it so painful? Rainbow shuddered. The cold air has already seeped into his internal organs, limbs, and bones. Now that I have to expel it bit by bit, of course it will hurt. Sima Yue said. But you don't have to be afraid. It's just a little pain. You can just ask them to let you bite their arms. Yue. Anayani helplessly shouted. Sima Yue stood up and said. In order not to leave any psychological trauma, you should let him go alone. If you're not afraid, then it's fine to stay. Rainbow, let's go out. Oh. Rainbow and Chongming followed Sima Yue and left, leaving Shurchun and his brothers behind. She didn't ask whether they stayed behind or not. After she left, she went to look for third Aunt Du. She did not forget that Chongming said that Du Sanyang had gone to look for her. Du Sanyang was using her spiritual power to control the silk weaving in her room. When Sima Yue entered, she saw the silk weaved in an orderly manner. To the embroiderers, weaving was also a way to increase their strength. She leaned against the door and stared at the scene in the room. She remembered that back then, she had also watched her weave like this. At that time, her third uncle had been by her side. Third uncle said with a blissful expression that meeting her in this life was the luckiest thing that had ever happened to him. It was a pity that Sanyang was still weaving. She was still leaning against the door, watching, but the person beside her was no longer there. When third Aunt Du saw Sima Yue, she stopped and said, "You're here." "Third madam." She walked in and hugged her from the side, leaning her head against hers. Third Aunt Du smiled and reached out to hug her, saying, "Why are you acting like a child?" "I'm just a child in front of Sanyang," Sima Yue said coquettishly. "I hope you can live like a child," Third Aunt Du said, "but you're asking too much of yourself and shouldering too many burdens. Seeing the things you've done, even my heart aches for you. You've suffered too much all these years." Sima Yue shook her head and said, "It's not bitter." "That's right, Sanyang. They said that you came to find me when I was in seclusion. What's the matter?" "Actually, it's nothing much. I just wanted to ask when you plan to leave so that I can take care of the shop," Third Aunt Du said. "What for?" Sima Yue said. "Those spirit cloths can be used to make clothes for us. If this house is empty, then so be it. We might need it in the future." "Then I don't care," Third Aunt Du said. "Okay, put it there. Then when are you leaving? What plans do you have for establishing your power?" Third Aunt Du asked. Sima Yue let go of her and sat down beside her, saying, "This matter isn't urgent. It needs to be planned slowly. When Shurchen's condition is better, and the few of them can be of use to me, we'll discuss this matter together. However, leaving is just a matter of these 2 days. It's not suitable for planning this now that it's so messy here. Then I'll pack these 2 days. Although there aren't many things here, we still need to pack everything," Third Aunt Du said as she was about to get up. "You can pack later. Shurchen needs 2 days to recover." Sima Yue pulled her and said, "Let's talk first." Third Aunt Du saw Sima Yue relying on her and smiled, saying, "What do you want to talk about? Do you want to tell me about your embarrassing past? Or do you want to talk about the man you like?" Speaking of the man she liked, the first person Sima Yue thought of was Mo Sha. Ever since that guy brought her out of the chaotic world, he had never woken up. "Third Aunt is laughing at me. How could I have a man I like?" She smiled. "You really don't have one?" Third Aunt Du looked at her with understanding. Sima Yue shook her head. "Third Aunt knows about the past life. This life isn't long and I've been busy cultivating. How could there be anyone?" Third Aunt Du thought of what Fatty Chu and the others said about her cultivation in this life. Thinking of how much she had suffered, her heart ached. She held her hand and said, "It's been hard on you." "It's not hard." Sima Yue smiled. "Although it seems like I'm a little miserable every time, I've gained a lot. Compared to what I've gained, what's a little injury?" "Good child." Third Aunt Du saw that she was so open-minded and kept her heartache in her heart. "Third Aunt, you know a lot of things in the past. What do you think about establishing power? I've actually only heard your third uncle talk about some." Sima Yue and Third Aunt Du chatted in the room for a long time until Third Aunt Du had to pack up. After she left, she returned to the place where she lived and told Fatty Chu and the others that they were leaving. Everyone's things had always been in their interspatial rings, and didn't need to pack up. So the group of people followed to Third Aunt's courtyard. Third Aunt Du's courtyard wasn't big. Now that everyone had come, it was a little crowded. Fortunately, everyone was sitting and waiting in the courtyard. Although it was crowded, it wasn't hard to turn around. Sima Yue and Sima Yulin set up a teleportation array in the courtyard when Shurchen was healing. When he finished, they left. There were a lot of people wandering in front of Third Aunt's shop these 2 days. Some people even attacked the protective array. It seemed that they were impatient. After the teleportation array was ready, Sima Yue let Wei Ziqi and the others leave first. Wei Ziqi, Sima Yuming and the others, plus the 5 Feng family guards left. The small courtyard immediately became empty. The people guarding outside the small courtyard saw the light in the courtyard and shouted, "Is that the light of the teleportation array? Those people have left? I heard that there is an array master among them. Maybe he set up the array." Someone said, "No, there are still people inside. They probably haven't left yet. Everyone attack quickly. You must not let them escape." Yes, everyone attack quickly. You must not let them escape. Once they escape today, it will be difficult to find their whereabouts in the future. When the people outside heard, they all attacked the protective array. The protective array became unstable for a while. Feng Kai and the others started attacking from the outside and ran out of the house. These people are really haunting. Fourth brother, fifth brother, let's go and meet them. Feng Kai's face was fierce. After speaking, he flew out to fight with those people. Why bother with them? Sima Yue said. Let them jump around. They can't enter here anyway. This array is about to be broken by them. If they come in and distract third brother. Yu Si said anxiously. Chapter 744. Yu Si was very anxious, but after being glanced at by Sima Yue, he miraculously calmed down. Mobile phone station dash. This is an array set up by Yulin and Yu Hongwu. I don't know how good Hongwu is, but I know Yulin very well. Sima Yue said. They're underestimating him if they think they can break through his array with just these few people. But this array formation looks really fragile. Even if you're weak, you can still hold on until your third brother is done. If you guys get injured outside, I'll be the one to suffer. Sima Yue waved at them. Come back. Feng Ji came out and stood at the door saying, even if you really can't hold on, can you still be stronger than them? Feng Kai also knew that the people around Sima Yue were more powerful than them. If something really happened, they would be able to solve it without needing to do anything. It was just that they used to rely on themselves for everything. Now that they suddenly had someone to rely on, they weren't used to it yet. Since Big Brother and Yue have said so, let's go back. Anayani said. Okay. Feng Kai glanced at Sima Yue and did not insist on going out. Sima Yulin walked around and looked at the array. After confirming that there were no problems, he came back to set up the second teleportation array with Sima Yu. What they had set up was a one-time use array. Unless the array was extremely powerful, no one would know where they had gone. After sending away half of the people, the array formation could no longer be used. Shurchen was in the house. His skin was alternating between red and white. His teeth were biting on a towel, and his veins were protruding. Large beads of sweat kept dripping down, and his clothes were all drenched in sweat. Kong Ren and the others watched from the side, their expressions extremely solemn. Seeing Feng Kai and the others return, they were a little surprised and asked, the situation outside? I'm fine. With them here, we don't have to worry about the situation outside. Feng Kai said. The two brothers had been together for so many years, so they naturally understood what he meant. They both had the same thought in their hearts. But because they were worried about Shurchen's situation, no one said anything. Ugh! Shurchen was torn apart by a wave of pain. He raised his head and bit the towel tightly, looking very uncomfortable. Third brother, how much longer are you going to persist like this? Tao Hongxing asked. Soon. Hongwu said. Yue said that it would take 2 days. More than half of it has already passed. Just hold on for a few more hours. If third brother's body can get better after this pain, it'll be worth it. Dai said. I hope third brother can really get better. He has been tormented by this illness for too many years. Yu Si said. In fact, they could all feel that Shurchen really didn't want to live in the past. It was only because he felt that they had ended up like this because of him that he would be letting them down if he ended his life so easily. That was why he reluctantly persevered. He was actually the most intelligent of the brothers, and if he could get better, then his life would be very exciting. Shurchen tightened his grip on the towel, his eyes revealing his unwillingness to admit defeat. Although the pain made him want to commit suicide, he knew that as long as he could get through this, He would be able to live like a normal person. Did everyone want to die? No, no one wanted to die. No one wanted to die. They all wanted to live. He was no exception. Previously, he had been waiting for death because he knew that his condition wasn't good. There was no chance of survival, and he was tortured by the illness all day long. Since there was hope now, he would want to hold on tightly to it. Fortunately, although the process was painful, he felt his body getting warmer and warmer. His body's vitality was recovering from the pain. The feeling of regaining strength was too good. Just like that, the day passed amidst the bombardment outside, Yu's calmness, and the worries in the house. Third Aunt Du packed up her things. Sima Yue entered the house and saw that Shurchen had already completed the painful process. She checked his pulse and nodded as she treated him. Finally, she said, "Your condition is good. It's basically cleaned up. It's just that your body has been weak for so many years. You still need to recuperate." "Thank you very much." He was sincerely grateful to her. Towards the end, he could feel the effects of that pill. He had eaten many pills before, so the effects of this pill were definitely worth the price she had quoted. Sima Yue took out a bottle of pills and said, "Take one pill every 10 days. It can adjust your current body. I hope that the next time we meet, you will have recovered." "You're leaving?" Shurchen was shocked. "No, not now. But we will be separated later on," Sima Yue said. They hadn't discussed the establishment of a force yet. How could she leave first? "Take a rest. We will leave in a while." She stood up. "The people outside can't wait to come in." Shurchen ate a pill and his weak body felt a lot better. Although his body was still weak, he felt a vigorous vitality flowing in his body, which made him very excited. They quickly packed up everything. Sima Yue even asked Third Aunt Du to pack up the bed, table and other furniture. She said that they might have to sleep in the wild. With these furniture, it would be more convenient when camping. Everyone stood on the teleportation array. Sima Yulin activated the teleportation array. The teleportation array opened and teleported them away. The array stone exploded into ashes not long after they left, and was blown away by the wind. As for the people attacking from the outside, they only managed to break through the defense array after they left. By the time they came in, there was only an empty and cold wind in the courtyard. In the depths of the dark forest, Sima Yue and the others came out from the spatial tunnel. "Yu, you're here?" Fatty Chu and the others were playing with a group of flamingos. When they saw them, they smiled and greeted them. "You're at ease here." Sima Yue walked over and slapped him on the head. "Who asked you to send us here?" Fatty Chu said. "I thought you would send us to a nearby city. In the end, you sent us here." "The nearby cities have been too eye-catching recently," Sima Yue said. "We have to lie low for a while." "How long do we have to stay here?" "Not long," Sima Yue said, and then asked the flamingos, "Where is your king?" As soon as Sima Yue's voice fell, the flamingo's king's voice came from a distance. "Greetings, young master." Sima Yue looked over. The flamingo's king flapped his wings and flew over quickly. Sima Yue and the others followed. She guessed that they were together. The flamingo's king flew over and turned into a human form. He saluted Sima Yue and said, "Greetings, young master." "Fifth brother, you're here." Sima Yue and the others came down from the flying beast. Sima Yue nodded to them and asked the flamingo's king, "Do you know where Bright Red Mountain Peak is?" Chapter 745. The following is provided for you. 745. Please enjoy. When Flamingo King heard the name of Red Mountain Peak, his face changed and he subconsciously trembled. "Young master wants to go to Red Mountain Peak?" Sima Yue nodded. Investigating the recent strange happenings at Bright Red Mountain Peak was their third mission. "Young master, it's better not to go," Flamingo King advised. "Why?" Fatty Chu asked. "Because that place has become very strange and dangerous," Flamingo King said. "We just want to see what happened there." Sima Yue said. "Investigate the strange things there, and then go back to complete the mission." "Can't we push it?" Flamingo King said. After he finished speaking, he realized that it was not good for him to say so and explained. Red Mountain Peak is quite far from here. We have never heard of it before, but recently, I'm afraid that no one in Central State does not know about it. You know about the strange things there? Sima Yue asked curiously. I have seen it with my own eyes. Flamingo King said, a few months ago, when I was traveling outside, I happened to go to a ridge adjacent to Red Mountain Peak. I saw with my own eyes a group of people who knew about the strange things in Red Mountain Peak, and went to investigate. In the end, after half a month, only one person came back. That person was covered in blood and his eyes were dull. When I asked him where his companions were, he only laughed and said that they were dead and were killed. His whole person turned into a fool. So strange? Did he and his companions encounter something else? Wei Ziqi said. It's not just this group of people. Flamingo King said. At that time, my thoughts were the same as yours. I thought that they might have met an enemy or something. The person who came back became dull because his companions were dead. But at that time, there was a waiter beside me who sighed and said that it was another group of people who did not believe in ghosts. Then I asked the waiter, and he said that this was not the first group of people to go. Recently, there have been many people like this. Some came back, but they all became fools and some did not come back at all. When Sima Yue and the others heard this, they all sucked in a breath of air. Is that true? After a trip, they became fools? This is too strange. Fatty Chu said. Isn't it? Flamingo King said. Those who go, no matter how strong they are, the result is the same. So even if I know that young master is very strong, I still dare to advise you not to go. After listening to Flamingo King, everyone was silent. Yu, what do you think? Sima Yue asked. This situation is much worse than we thought. Sima Yu wasn't sure if they should go on like this and hesitated for a moment. Sima Yue, and Sima Yue, Sima Yue, Sima Yue, Sima Yue, Sima Yue, Yue. What's the second mission? Anayani followed his words and asked. Isn't it? Fatty Chu stopped halfway and looked at Anayani with a smile. What are you laughing at? Anayani saw him laughing, which was really annoying. Nothing. Fatty Chu stopped laughing, but he didn't say what the mission was. I'm afraid the second mission is to kill us, Shurchen said with a smile. Fatty Chu smiled embarrassedly, admitting his words. So you want to kill us? Anayani punched Fatty Chu's shoulder. He didn't hurt him, but his own hand hurt. He shook it twice before he felt better. Heavens, what are you made of? Why are you so hard? It hurts. Fatty Chu is a body refiner. If you hit him, aren't you looking for pain? Sima Yue looked at him with a silly look. The situation in Bright Red Mountain Peak is not clear. If it is just a mission from the sect, you can choose to give up. Shurchen expressed his thoughts. I also think that unknown risks are the most dangerous, Fengji said. If you know the situation there, you can take precautions in advance even if there are powerful opponents. But this kind of unclear situation, it's better not to join in the fun. Sima Yue saw the two pillars of the 10 brothers saying so, and her heart was a little shaken. She looked at Sima Yuming and asked, Big brother, what do you think? I think the Flamingo King went there a few months ago. After a few months, we don't know what the situation there is. Whether to go or not, it's better to go nearby and understand the specific situation before making a decision, Sima Yuming said. Maybe the situation is different from before. I also agree with Big Brother, Sima Yuran said. Let's get closer and see the current situation. If it's still as confusing as he said, it's fine as long as we don't go in. If the situation has changed, we can also go in and take a look. You can't not believe everything, but you can't believe everything. For this kind of thing, it was better to see it with your own eyes. This is also fine, Shurchen said. This strange phenomenon only occurs in Red Mountain Peak. As long as you don't enter Red Mountain Peak, it's safe to inquire about the news nearby. Then let's go and take a look. If we just hear that it's strange and give up without going to take a look, it's not our style. Ouyang Fei said. Well, let's go to Red Mountain Peak and take a look around. Sima Yue said. I've never seen such a thing, Dai Yi said excitedly. Can you go? Fatty Chu asked. Will you be shouted to kill as soon as you appear in front of everyone? This is really possible. Sima Yue said. Don't we go? Dai Yi asked in surprise. It's better if you don't appear in front of people recently, Sima Yue said. I think the people who have received the news of your appearance are not only in Green City. You should avoid the limelight. But aren't we following you? Anayani said. Sima Yue shook her head and said, You're not following me now. I want you to do some things. You can do those things after you leave here. Fengji and the others guessed what she wanted them to do and nodded. They didn't say that they wanted to go to Red Mountain Peak like Anayani and the others. We just left Green City 2 days ago. Those people will definitely be searching for your whereabouts in the vicinity. You guys wait here for a few days before you go out. We'll also discuss what we need to do to build a force. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 746. The following is provided for you, 746. Please enjoy. During these days in the dark forest, everyone discussed the matter of establishing their power. Now, what Sima Yue wanted them to do was not to recruit people, but to let them walk around and look for a place to establish their power. Sima Yue asked Fatty Chu to refine some human skin masks for them to wear after they left. At that time, no one would know that they were the 10 great villains, which would be much more convenient. To be on the safe side, she made them swear an oath. They did not have to recognize her as their master, but they had to swear that they would not spread any information about her, nor would they have any thoughts of harming her. Feng Ji and the rest understood her apprehension and swore an oath, letting the laws of heaven and earth trust each other. After the discussion was more or less done, she let Shimen Feng and Feng Ji discuss the specific details while she went to the side to relax. Kong Ren and Hong Wu asked her to consult about alchemy and arrays. She was more interested in these than establishing her power, so she chatted with them with great interest. A few days later, Flamingo sent back news that after searching for a period of time to no avail, the people outside gave up on chasing after Feng Ji and the rest and returned one after another. Those people were guessing where Feng Ji and the rest would go after leaving Qing City, but no one thought that they would hide in the depths of the dark forest. When the wind outside loosened, Sima Yue urged them to leave. After Feng Kai and the rest interacted with Yue and the rest for a period of time, they found that they had similar temperaments and were a little reluctant to part with them. Especially Hong Wu and Kong Ren. They felt that there were many things that they wanted to discuss with Sima Yue. She had explained everything clearly in these few days. In order to protect their safety, she even gave them a few little rock feathers. If they encountered any danger, they could take this to the nearby bird clan for help. Feng Ji and the rest took a thick stack of human skin masks and little rock feathers and left. After they left, Sima Yue and the rest also planned to leave. Sima Yue asked for the direction of the teleportation array, seeing that they had to go around a snowy mountain range. She thought of the Scarlet Lake in the center of the forest and the 2 clans in the spatial ring. She rejected Flamingo's offer to send her and went to the center of the forest. There, she called out the members of the saber-toothed tiger group. You will live here from now on, or you can go somewhere else, Sima Yue said. When the members of the saber-toothed tiger group were in the spirit pagoda, they were locked in a dark area. They had no idea where they were. Now that they saw the blue sky and white clouds, as well as the scarlet flame lake, they felt a sense of familiarity. We want to try living here. If we can't continue living here, then we will leave, Saber-toothed Tiger King said. I have already informed Fiery Bird. They will help you out a little. Sima Yue said. Also, the Snow Wolf clan will live on the snow mountain over there. You all came from the little realm. I don't think I need to tell you how to help each other, right? We understand, the saber-toothed Tiger King said. Sima Yu nodded at him, then sat on Sima Yulin's flying beast and flew towards the snow mountain. When they reached the snowy mountain, she called out the Snow Wolf clan and told them the same thing. She wanted them to live here. The Snow Wolf clan had thought that they would really follow her and live in that dark place for 100 years. He didn't expect her to release them so soon. Then the agreement between us. If there is a need, I will come and find you, Sima Yue said. If there is no need, then you will be free after 100 years. The saber-toothed tiger clan and the Snow Wolf clan were brought out by her from the little realm. She had previously agreed that they would be at her disposal for 100 years, thinking that they would encounter some situations here. In the end, the situation here was much more difficult than she had expected. They had never been of use, but Little Rock had evolved into the golden-winged rock, allowing her to obtain the help of the entire bird clan. Since she couldn't use them, then she would return their freedom earlier. After settling the Snow Wolf clan, they climbed over the mountain and spent half a month to get out of the dark forest. They went to the city outside and found a teleportation array. After passing through 2 cities, they went to the charred mountain ridge next to the bright red mountain ridge. The charred mountain ridge was vast, but the population was not large. Because the climate here was not suitable for ordinary people to live, there was a city with spirit masters at a long distance. Usually, the cities here were not lively, but in the past year, it had become more lively. Many outsiders would come to these cities to settle down, wanting to enter the bright red mountain ridge. Mushui City was one of these cities. No, to be exact, Mushui City was more lively than other cities because it was at the edge of the bright red mountain ridge, only separated from the bright red mountain ridge by a river. Sima Yue and the others sat in a tea house by the river. Although there were many of them, they did not choose to sit in a private room. Instead, they sat at 2 separate tables in the main hall. They sat far away from each other, and ordinary people would not be able to tell that they were together. Have you heard? A few days ago, another group of people did not believe in heresy and went to the bright red mountain ridge. The person at the table next to them said, "How do you know?" "I saw it with my own eyes. They went through here." The person pointed at the river outside and said, "Those people are really daring. They actually dared to go there. What a pity." Someone shook his head and sighed, as if he was sure that those people would not come back. The person who sighed was a man at the table next to them. Sima Yue saw that his face was full of regret and asked, "This young master seems to be very sure that they will not come back?" That person did not think that Sima Yue would reply to him, and was stunned. He sighed again and said, "It's not that I'm certain, but that in the past 3 months, not a single person has come back out. Why would those people send themselves to their deaths?" "Not a single one came back. Didn't you say that there would be people coming back occasionally?" Wei Ziqi asked. "That was in the past. Recently no one has come back," that person said. "How do you know?" Wei Ziqi asked. "Because I've been here every day. How many people went and how many came back, I've recorded it all here. Could it be that they went in from here and came out from another city?" Fatty Chu guessed. "Impossible. If someone came out from another place, the news would have spread across the entire continent." That man denied. "Are you here every day?" Sima Yue asked curiously. "Yes. Because I need to record data. I've been here recently." "Record data? You?" Wei Ziqi was about to ask about his identity when a man dressed in military attire ran in from outside and said, "City Lord, there's an urgent report from the city." "Urgent report? Where is it from?" Mushui City's city lord stood up. "It's from here." The guard said, "We've just received news that strange phenomena have appeared in 2 towns outside of our city. It's similar to the situation in Bright Red Mountain Peak. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone." Chapter 747. The following is provided for you. 747. Please enjoy. What did you say? The Mushui city lord was so shocked that he grabbed the guard's clothes. It was as if he would take the guard's life if she lied. "City lord, it's true. The guards have already surrounded the 2 towns. Please go and take a look." The guard said anxiously. "Damn it." The Mushui city lord threw the guard aside and ran out. The guard followed closely behind. Sima Yue and the others exchanged glances and stood up together. They paid the bill and followed. They were not the only ones who followed. Many people in the tea house also paid the bill and left. When they went out, there were people who heard the news and followed them. Everyone went in the same direction and did not worry about going the wrong way. Once they left Mushui City, everyone chose to fly. Those who could not fly called out their flying beasts. After half a day, they arrived at one of the small towns. When they reached here, the people outside could not enter because the soldiers had surrounded the small town. Sima Yue and the others got off the flying beasts. Through the guards, they could faintly see the color of blood. Yu, there's a strong smell of blood here. Bei Gongtang said with furrowed eyebrows. I don't think there are many left alive. Sima Yue said. Is the bright red mountain peak like this? Are all the people in the towns killed? Fatty Chu asked. It's a little strange. Sima Yuran said. There are no traces of spirit energy being used here. Those people died without resistance? Should be. It's a pity that we can't see what's going on inside. We don't know what's going on. I'm guessing that there are soldiers guarding here. There shouldn't be any other places, right? Sima Yue said. Other places? This place is vast. It's impossible that everyone lives in this small town. Let's go and see if there are any other villages nearby that have the same situation. Sima Yue said. That's right. Let's go and take a look. Sima Yue said. If this town is like this, other places should not be so lucky. In that case, let's go look around. There were quite a few people who had the same idea as them. Seeing that they couldn't enter the town, they turned around and left. Sima Yue and the rest flew in a random direction. After flying for half a day, they saw a small village. Before they even got close, they could smell the thick stench of blood. There's a similar situation here. Fatty Chu shouted. Let's go down and take a look. Sima Yue patted Chongming's back, and Chongming led everyone down. Not a single one of them is out of breath. First Wind's face was solemn. With their strength, they could roughly know the situation inside with a sweep of their divine senses. Let's go in and take a look. I hope we can find some clues. Sima Yue said. They walked into the village. Corpses were strewn all over the ground in front of the houses. Every one of them had died a horrible death. The hearts of the children had been dug out. Along the way, he could tell that the strength of the people here was not high. Many of them were ordinary civilians who did not know how to cultivate. Those who knew how to cultivate were not very strong. These people have died too tragically. Every single one of their faces is filled with terror. It seems that they suffered a great shock before they died. Especially those children, their organs are all gone. Sima Yue said with heartache. Sima Yue's face was gloomy. She was heartbroken by the scene in front of her. Those children were still so young. They had not even had the chance to see this beautiful world before they were killed by unknown things. They had died so tragically. Yue, how did these people die? These wounds don't look like they were caused by human spirit energy. They also don't look like they were killed by spirit beasts. Fatty Chu asked. Sima Yue squatted down and put on a pair of silk gloves. Then, she went to flip the corpses in front of her. It's really strange. Sima Yue said. Fifth bro, do you see anything? Sima Yue asked. Feng 1, Feng 2, you have seen a lot with Master. Do you see anything strange? Sima Yue asked. Looking at the blood flowing out, they should have been killed last night. However, their wounds look like they have been dead for a long time. This doesn't make sense. Feng 1 said. It doesn't make sense. Sima Yue flipped the corpses twice and stood up. She took off the gloves on her hands and said, these wounds have a death aura lingering around them. Furthermore what? Fatty Chu asked. Furthermore, when they died, they were sucked dry of their essence. That's why their corpses look like they have been dead for a few days. As for these wounds, because of direct contact, they look like they have been rotting for a long time. Sima Yue said. Sucked dry of their essence? Everyone sucked in a breath. What kind of creature can suck people's essence? Furthermore, the wounds have a death aura lingering around them. This is too strange. Big brother Feng 1. Do you know what kind of thing can cause people to become like this? Sima Yoshi asked. Normal creatures can't cause this kind of harm. Feng Wan said. I've never seen it before, but I've heard of a few similar situations. What kind of situation is that? What caused it? Wei Ziqi asked. It's the Ghost Clan, Sima Yue said. That's right, Feng Wan said. I've only heard that those who were killed by the Ghost Clan would have a death aura lingering around their wounds. But this is the first time I've seen it. Ghost Clan? Why are they here? Didn't they say that the Ghost Clan can't leave the Ghost Realm to other continents? Ouyang Fei asked curiously. It's not that they can't come. Feng Wan looked at Sima Yue meaningfully, saying, as long as the Ghost Realm people find the right way, they can come over. That year, wasn't her mother one of them? Sima Yue called Little Dream out. Yu. Little Dream came out and pounced into Sima Yue's embrace. Sima Yue patted Little Dream's head, saying, Little Dream, take a look. Is there anything strange about these corpses? Okay. Little Dream came out from her embrace, squatted down and sniffed the corpses, saying, Yu, their souls are gone. Their souls are gone? What does that mean? Sima Yue asked. It means they're gone. What's the point? Little Dream said. When these people died, their souls were sucked out. Don't people's souls come out to the ghost realm after they die? No, it's different from being sucked out. Little Dream said. When the soul comes out after death, the body's muscles will be more relaxed. But these people's muscles are obviously tight, which means that their souls didn't come out after they died, but were sucked out before they died. Sucking people's souls. This is similar to the Soul Devourer Master we met before. Fatty Chu said. This is different. Feng Wan said. The Soul Devourer beast is a demon from the Devil Realm. It can only suck the souls of people after they die. But the Ghost Clan people can suck any kind of soul. Actively cooperate with the campaign to combat obscenity and pornography on the internet. Please report it. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 748. The following is provided for you. Chapter 748. Chapter 748. Please enjoy. The soul-gnawing beast used to exist in the ghost realm as well. Little Dream said. It's just that they can't come to the human realm, but they often go to the devil realm. That's why they don't exist only in the devil realm. Indeed, they exist in both the ghost realm and devil realm. Sima Yue said. Now is not the time to discuss this. The other party is so vicious, I don't think they're easy to deal with. So you're saying that the bright red mountain peak is also the work of the ghost realm? Wei Ziqi said. If only a part of their soul is sucked out, that person's mind will be incomplete. It's as if they've lost their mind. Little Dream said. In the beginning, the bright red mountain peak only had a large group of people with incomplete minds. Later on, these deaths started to occur. In the past, it was only in the bright red mountain peak, but now it has spread to the surrounding territories. This shows that the situation is getting more and more dangerous. Sima Yuran said. What is the Ghost Clan doing? Fatty Chu said. Do they want to occupy the human territory? Feng Yi was listening to their discussion when he suddenly looked towards the entrance of the village and shouted. Who is it? It can't be that those from the ghost realm haven't left yet, right? Sima Yue said. No, it's the human clan that came. Sima Yue also sensed the movement in the east of the village. It should be someone like us who wants to investigate the surrounding villages. At this time, the other party also discovered their presence, and a group of people walked over quickly. Audacious thieves, you actually dare to do such a cruel thing, take this. A woman saw them, shouted loudly, and attacked them without distinguishing between right and wrong. Feng Yi easily dispelled the other party's attack, and with a wave of pressure, the lady was fixed in place, unable to breathe. Please have mercy. A familiar male voice came from afar, bowing to Feng Yi before he could see the situation clearly. Big Brother Cho? Sima Yue called out in surprise when she saw who it was. You? Ziqi. Why are you guys here? Cho Xiaotian didn't think that he would meet them here, and was very surprised. We came here to investigate the bright red mountain peak. We heard that something happened here, so we came to take a look. Are you also here to investigate this matter? Sima Yue said. Seeing the girl being suppressed by Feng Yi, she asked. Is she with you? This is my junior sister Yanling. She has a rather impatient temperament and has offended you. Please forgive her. Chou Xiaotian said apologetically. First wind. Sima Yu shouted, and Feng Yi retracted his pressure. It was only then that the lady was able to snatch her life back from the gates of hell. Thank you. Chou Xiaotian nodded at Yue. Fortunately, it was us. If it was someone else, it wouldn't be so easy to talk to them, Sima Yue said. Humph. Yanling snorted coldly and returned to Chou Xiaotian's side in dissatisfaction. At this moment, the others also rushed over and asked, what happened? Eldest senior brother, junior sister offended them just now. Fortunately, we know each other, and everything is fine now, Chou Xiaotian said. You know each other? Mu Gang asked. Yes, they are some friends I met in Heavenly Tiger Ridge, Chou Xiaotian said and then introduced them to each other. Mu Gang bowed to Sima Yue and the others and said, Junior sister was worried about those who died, so she was so reckless. Mu Gang apologizes to everyone. Sima Yuming returned the greeting and said some polite words to them. Sima Yue saw that Chou Xiaotian and the others were fine. Yanling was probably spoiled since childhood. Even if she did something wrong, her seniors apologized for her, but she didn't say anything. She was just a little girl. They didn't plan to continue bickering with her as long as she didn't trouble them. Yu, we haven't seen each other for a few years since the last auction. Aren't you in the central area? Why are you here to investigate Bright Red Mountain Peak? Chou Xiaotian asked. We participated in the innate talent sex assessment and became their students. This time, we took the sex mission and came to investigate Bright Red Mountain Peak. Sima Yue said. Then what did you find? A man in blue behind Mu Gang asked. Sima Yue saw the aggressive gaze in the man's eyes. Her eyes flashed slightly and she said, We just came to Mushui City yesterday. Today is the first time we saw this. How can we find anything? We just feel that these people's death is a bit brilliant and their wounds are a bit abnormal. You didn't think about investigating these abnormalities? The man in blue asked. We just arrived and didn't remember to investigate these abnormalities before we were attacked by your junior sister, Sima Yue said. Did you find anything? Mu Gang shook his head and said. We also found that these corpses are a bit different. They were killed last night. Why are the corpses in this state? Your sect is a big sect. You must be more knowledgeable than us. Do you know why? Sima Yue asked. We don't know what's going on, Mu Gang said. We have to report the situation here to the sect. Maybe we can get an answer. Since the situation has been investigated, let's go back and report to Master, the man in blue said. Mu Gang nodded and said, We'll go back first. Do you want to go together? We want to see the situation here again, Sima Yue said. Then we'll take our leave. Mu Gang cupped his hands at them. Senior brother, I want to go with them. You guys go back first, Chou Xiaotian said. Then pay attention to your safety. Mu Gang didn't say anything more. He nodded at Sima Yue and turned to leave. Yanling stood in place without moving. Junior sister? Mu Gang stopped and looked at her. I want to go with senior brother Chou. Yanling said. Big brother Chou stayed to catch up with us. You don't want to catch up with us. What are you staying for? Fatty Chu didn't like this girl and said, Do you want to catch up with us? They didn't have anything to catch up with. If they really wanted to talk about it, they could only talk about how she attacked them. Junior sister, if you stay outside, Master will be worried. Mu Gang said, Go back with us. Do you want Master to be angry? Mu Gang frowned. Yanling thought of her father's angry face. She pursed her lips and left unhappily. After they left, Sima Yue looked at Chou Xiaotian suspiciously and said, Why do I feel that your senior brothers don't like you? When he said that he wanted to stay, those people weren't worried that he would be in danger at all. It was as if his life and death had nothing to do with them. Chou Xiaotian smiled bitterly and said, They probably didn't think that I'm still alive. Don't tell me you stole their dream girl and their goddess? Sima Yue teased. Seeing Cho Xiaotian's evasive gaze, she smiled and said, Don't tell me I guessed it right. Cho Xiaotian was embarrassed. He uncomfortably changed the topic and asked, You guys should have found something just now, right? I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special operation to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 749. The following is provided for you, 749. Please enjoy. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. How did this guy know? Cho Xiaotian looked at Sima Yue and knew that he guessed correctly. What did you guys find? Tell me quickly. How did you know what we found? Fatty Chu asked. All of you look like you know everything. You must know something. My seniors can't tell, but we've been together for a while. Cho Xiaotian said. Chi only you know. Fatty Chu said. That's right. Quick, tell me what you found. Cho Xiaotian smiled and urged. Actually, it's nothing much. We're just guessing what kind of creature caused these wounds. Sima Yue said. Then have you guessed it? We have some clues, but we haven't confirmed it yet. Sima Yue said. I've also seen these corpses. They're extremely strange. Cho Xiaotian said. I've never seen such vicious and strange wounds before. It's normal that you haven't seen it before. Sima Yue said. You've never seen anyone from the ghost realm. Ghost realm? You're saying that this was done by someone from the ghost realm? Cho Xiaotian exclaimed. At least it could be done by a creature from the ghost realm. As for whether it was a person from the ghost realm or a beast from the ghost realm or some other creature, we don't know. Sima Yue said. How could it be the ghost realm? How did you guess that it was done by someone from the ghost realm? Cho Xiaotian was shocked by this news, because it was harder for someone from the ghost realm to come to the human realm than someone from the devil realm. He had never thought that he would come into contact with someone from the ghost realm, so he couldn't digest this news. Because these people's souls and essence were sucked dry before they died, Sima Yue said. And their wounds had a faint death aura lingering around them. Death aura? We said that there were no traces of spirit energy in the entire village, because the other party didn't use spirit energy, but death aura. Other than the people from the ghost realm, who else would use death energy? Sima Yue said. Cho Xiaotian squatted down and examined the wounds carefully. Indeed, he saw a very faint black fog lingering around the wounds. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't notice it at all. How do you know this is death chi? Because I'm smart, Sima Yue said. She couldn't possibly tell him that she had seen it before. That's right, she had seen this deathly aura before. The person who had been sealed under Dragon Reflection Mountain had been surrounded by deathly aura. However, she hadn't recovered her memories at that time, so she thought it was just a normal black fog. It was only after he regained his memories that he realized that it was an aura of death that was so thick that it could not be dissolved. Cho Xiaotian knew that she didn't want to talk about it, so he didn't ask further. You already guessed that this was done by people from the ghost realm. Why didn't you say so earlier? Why should I? Sima Yue said. I don't even know them. You don't have a good relationship with them. Cho Xiaotian looked at her somewhat moved. The latter reason should be the main reason. Since you know the reason, what do you plan to do? He asked. I don't know what to do. So many people have died here. I don't know if those people can find out and keep the corpses. Why don't we get rid of them? The others agreed, so they burned the place down. After leaving the village, they continued to walk around. They met many people on the way. All of them had a sad and angry look. Occasionally, they would see one or two villages, but they were all burned down. It seems that the same thing happened to those villages. Sima Yue said. Those people went there before us. They probably burned down the villages. We won't be able to find anything if we go there now. Let's go back. Where are you staying now? Cho Xiaotian asked. We're staying at the small inn by the river. Sima Yue said. That place isn't big. You shouldn't be staying there, right? We have more people, so we're staying at the biggest inn in the city, Cho Xiaotian said. I guessed it. Let's go back. They flew back to the city. They heard from the people at the city gate that the city lord hadn't returned yet. They guessed that he was still in the small town investigating the cause. If not, he would be patrolling the area. When they reached the city gate, Sima Yue and the others bid farewell to Cho Xiaotian and returned to the inn. Yue, since we know the reason, should we go back to the sect to report? Fatty Chu asked. Sima Yue looked at the rain outside the window. The rain was the source of this incident. No, I want to go there and take a look. You want to go there? It's dangerous there. I know, but I have to go, Sima Yue said. What can happen if you go there? Fatty Chu said. Yue, don't think that just because third aunt and big brother Shiman left, you're going to do something dangerous. Even if third aunt and the others are there, I will go, Sima Yue said. I have to go even if it's for my companions. Third bro, is it because of Little Dream? Sima Yuran asked. Sima Yue nodded. She understood what Sima Yuran meant. He was actually asking her if she had gone because of Little Dream. But she had gone because Little Dream had passed a message to her. After Little Dream confirmed that this was done by people from the ghost realm, she said, there's the smell of ghosts here. If we can catch the ghosts and let Mo Sha absorb them, he should be able to recover faster. Mo Sha was injured so badly because of her. Since there was such a possibility, she had to try. Even if Shiman Feng knew, he wouldn't stop her. Fatty Chu wanted to persuade her, but Bei Gong Tang grabbed his arm and stopped him. We'll go with you, Wei Ziqi said. No need, just wait for me here. Sima Yue said. I have Little Dream, so normal soul attacks won't have much effect on me. But you guys are different. What if something happens? But we won't be at ease if you're alone, Sima Yuqi said. I have Feng 1 and Feng 2, and Little Rock in the others. Sima Yue said. Second bro, trust me. I'll settle this smoothly. Everyone saw that she was determined. Although they were worried, they couldn't do anything about it. They could only look at her worriedly. Don't worry, can't I trigger the heavenly tribulation? If I really have no choice, I'll trigger the heavenly tribulation. No matter how strong the people from the ghost realm are, they'll be afraid of this. That's true. Fifth bro has so many ways to protect himself, and they're all against the ghost clan. If she really meets the ghost clan, she might not be the one at a disadvantage. Sima Yuran was still very confident in her. Then when do you plan to go? Sima Yulin asked. After tonight. Sima Yue said. Those things happened at night, and they were at Mushui City yesterday. Who knows, they might come here tonight. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the campaign to combat obscenity and pornography on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 750. The following is provided for you. 750. 750. Please enjoy. When they returned, it was already evening. By the time they reached a conclusion, it was already late at night. Sima Yue did not sleep. She leaned against the window in her room and stared blankly at the river outside. When will you recover? She rubbed the devil's snare bracelet and murmured. In the devil's snare bracelet, the black shadow that had been curled up in a ball ever since they returned from the chaotic world felt a strong sense of longing. It finally moved and slowly condensed into a form. You could have fused with senior brother, but for me, you went into hibernation again. If Xiao Meng's method really works, no matter how dangerous it is, I will capture those ghosts for you. Mo Sha had just woken up and heard her words. A faint smile appeared on his cold face. He took out a bottle of spirit fluid and drank it. His transparent body became more solid. Suddenly, Sima Yue felt a few shadows floating over from the opposite side of the river. It was a black mass. Just when she thought they would attack Mushui City, the black shadows suddenly turned and flew towards the nearby village. There's movement. Brother Fatty, you guys wait here. Don't go out. Sima Yue shouted and immediately jumped out of the window. Although Fatty Chu and the rest were anxious, they did not dare to leave the room. Sima Yue had set up a formation in the room. Once there was a soul attack, it would generate electricity and scatter their souls. Only Feng 1 and Feng 2 flew out with her. When they arrived outside, they immediately noticed a few figures flying out from different places. and chasing after the black shadows. The black shadows seemed to have guessed that they would do this and immediately scattered. The figures could only split up and chase after them. Sima Yu brought Feng 1 and Feng 2 along as they flew in the direction of the white sun. They quickly caught up to those ghosts. Yaha! The ghosts suddenly stopped running and turned around, quickly surrounding Sima Yue and the rest. Young master, be careful. Feng 1 and Feng 2 stood beside Sima Yue, facing off against the ghosts. Sima Yue saw that they looked similar to ordinary people, but their faces were very pale and their bodies were transparent. They looked very ugly. Although they are all souls, my Emo Sha is much better looking. Sima Yue thought to herself. Emo Sha, who had already woken up, heard her thoughts. He opened his eyes, his gaze gentle. Kiki, someone actually dares to chase after us. One of the ghosts laughed strangely. His voice was as unpleasant as it could be. What a horrible sound. Sima Yue dug her ears. If I were like you, I would hide in the world of spirits and souls for the rest of my life. I didn't expect you to have such good eyesight. You know that we are from the ghost realm, yet you still dare to chase after us. How bold! Thanks for the compliment. You're not the first to say that to me. Sima Yue said. Humph, just a small human. Don't waste time. Clean them up and get to work. Another ghost's voice was cold, as if it was emitting cold air from a cold pond. Sima Yue was a beginner divine emperor, while Feng 1 and Feng 2 were monarch-ranked experts. However, they were talking about a small human. Did they not know how powerful humans were? The people who destroyed a mountain here definitely knew. However, if they could still say that, it could only mean that they really did not put Sima Yue in their eyes. They were very strong. Feng 1 and Feng 2 did not wait for Sima Yue's orders and attacked them at the same time. However, when they attacked with their spiritual power, they only scattered them and did not do much damage. Very quickly, the scattered black fog gathered and formed again. Normal attacks are useless against them, Sima Yue said. Try using fire. Feng 1 and Feng 2 also thought of it. Feng 2 used a fire attribute spiritual technique, and a lot of fire rain flew towards the ghosts. Ah! Some of the weaker ghosts were burned by the flames and cried out in pain. Very quickly, those shrieking ghosts were burned to ashes. Although some of them were burned to death, most of them were still fine. When the flames came, they waved their hands and a layer of black fog appeared in front of them. When the flames came into contact with the black fog, it was as if they fell into water and were extinguished. A monarch-ranked expert's attack was swallowed up just like that. Furthermore, it was a fire attribute that countered darkness. If it was any other attribute attack, the effect would be even worse. TSK, you dare to attack us with this kind of strength. The ghost that spoke first mocked in disdain. Feng 1 and Feng 2's faces were gloomy. Although Feng 2's attack was probing and did not use his full strength, it only burned some of the weaker ghosts. One could only imagine how strong these ghosts were. It was no wonder that those who went were all killed. These ghosts were indeed much stronger than human spirit masters. Don't be too proud. You are just relying on the death aura. You don't have much fighting strength. Sima Yue said, waking up the confused Feng 1 and Feng 2. What nonsense are you spouting? Am I spouting nonsense? Sima Yue said. This death aura doesn't belong to you, right? I don't know who gave you this death aura that allowed you to block Feng 2's attack. However, I dare say that without this death aura, you wouldn't even be able to take one of my attacks. When the ghosts heard Sima Yue's words, they became extremely agitated. This death aura had always been their secret. They had killed so many people but no one had discovered it. Now a mere human had discovered it. I'm guessing that you are ghosts that are being controlled by someone, right? Sima Yue continued. And this death aura was given to you by the person who is controlling you. That person is now in Bright Red Mountain Peak, but he can't move. Hence, he can only let you go around absorbing other people's souls and spiritual essence. The more she said, the angrier the ghosts became. She had actually guessed everything. So, you are just using the tiger's skin as a flag. Sima Yue concluded. What about those people who were burned? Of course, those people didn't receive any death aura to protect their bodies. Otherwise, their reactions would be slower than a snail. Sima Yue said. So what if you're right? That ghost said angrily. Today, all of you will die here. You want our lives? Not only can you not do it, the person behind you can't do it either. Sima Yue stood with her hands behind her back. She was not threatened at all. It's just some death chi. Do you really think you can sweep through my mortal world? Just a ball of fire will do. Ha ha ha, what an arrogant brat. Now I'll swallow you. The person who spoke laughed loudly, and the death chi gushing out of his body became even denser, rolling over and over around him. Sima Yue snorted and shot out a small flame. As soon as crimson flames came out, the faces of those ghosts immediately changed. Didn't you want to swallow me? Then let's have a competition. As she spoke, she threw out the flame. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. Chapter 751. The following is provided for you. 751. Please enjoy. The flames transformed into the form of a little vermilion bird before flying toward the ball of death. The sound of the flames breaking through the air was loud and hurried. The little vermilion bird flew into the deathly aura and quickly burned it. In less than a minute, the deathly aura was completely burned away. After the little vermilion bird burned the ball of death energy, it pounced on the person behind it. Following a miserable cry, the ghost also disappeared from time to time. When the other ghosts saw this, they were so frightened that they scurried everywhere. They wanted to fly away, but they were targeted by the little vermilion bird, who chased them everywhere. Even a little bit of it would be burned clean. What powerful flames! Feng Er's mouth gaped open as he stared at the little vermilion bird in shock. This isn't an ordinary flame. Feng Yi said. Even if it's us, I'm afraid. The little vermilion bird flew one round, and more than half of the ghosts were burned to death. When Sima Yue saw that it was about the same, she took it back. At the same time, she condensed her wood element spirit energy and turned it into a long green vine, trapping the remaining ghosts. The wood attribute was also an attribute that countered death energy. Sometimes it was even more useful than the fire attribute. The ghosts were tied up and did not dare to struggle, because if they struggled, they would come into contact with the green vines. The vigorous life force was like a poison to them, causing them heart-wrenching pain. Sima Yue walked over and circled around them. How is it? I told you that your death aura is useless, but you didn't believe me. What kind of flame is that? Why is it so powerful? Sima Yue summoned the flame and played with it between her fingers. This flame is specially made to deal with you, she said. If you can tell me what happened at Bright Red Mountain Peak, I will give you a quick death. If you don't tell me, I can let you have a good taste of my little birdie's power. The flame didn't seem to like the name she gave it, and jumped on her hand a few times to show its protest. However, he was magnificently ignored by her. We won't say a word. One of the ghosts had a backbone and was not threatened by Sima Yue. Sima Yue did not waste any more time. She released Birdie, and by the time she returned, the man had already turned into ashes. What about you guys? Are you not going to tell us? Sima Yue stared at them coldly. She was prepared to kill anyone who refused to tell her. I'll talk. One of the ghosts didn't want to die and said loudly, But as soon as he said a word, he suddenly screamed, and then his throat seemed to be grabbed by something. His eyes bulged and his tongue stuck out. He stretched out his hands and clasped his neck, trying to pry the invisible hand away. However, the moment he touched his neck, it turned into a strangling. Ugh! The man struggled in the green vines, and when his body came into contact with the vines, he was turned into a cloud of death chi. What's going on? Sima Yue looked at the death aura in surprise. Before Feng Yi and Feng Er could say anything, the others had also turned into clouds of death chi and dissipated in the air. It was just that the process wasn't as painful. Sima Yue removed the green vines and looked across the Yi River. At the same time, on a mountain peak in the bright red mountain peak, a beautiful and enchanting man opened his eyes. Someone actually saw through it. Seems like this person can't be left alive. Send someone to get rid of her. The man's voice was pleasant to the ears, but there was no warmth in it. He talked about killing people, as if it was normal for him to cultivate. Yes. There was a ripple in the air. Before she left, she heard the beautiful man say, "Go after 2 days. Protect me for now." "Yes, master." The space returned to normal, as if there was no one there. Outside the River City, Sima Yue was preparing to return when a few figures flew towards them. "Are you guys alright?" The River City Lord asked with concern. "So it's the City Lord." "We're fine," Sima Yue said. "Why is the City Lord here?" "We were preparing to return to the city, but we didn't expect to hear a commotion. When we rushed over, we found that those people were already dead. We heard that there was a fight here, so we rushed over to take a look." The River City Lord said. "Luckily you guys are alright. Those people are all dead?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes, they're all dead," the River City Lord said. "Did you guys encounter those creatures just now?" "We did," Sima Yue said. "Then do you know what they are?" the River City Lord asked. "I saw them." Sima Yue saw that the River City Lord was not bad, so she was willing to give him some pointers. "Those are ghosts from the ghost realm. They came to harm people this time, so they must be under someone's control." People from the ghost realm. The River City Lord's reaction was the same as Cho Xiaotian's. They did not believe that people from the ghost realm would come to the human realm to do evil. Did the City Lord notice that the corpses of those who just died seem to have been dead for a long time? Their wounds have a highly decomposed aura? Sima Yue asked. The River City Lord nodded. "That's right. If they're not from the ghost realm, how can there be such injuries?" Sima Yue said. The River City Lord and the people behind him were silent. People from an unknown world had invaded the human realm. This result was worse than they had imagined. "I heard that people from the ghost realm are very strong. I wonder how young master will deal with them," a person behind the City Lord who did not look like a guard asked. People from the ghost realm are indeed stronger than humans because of the death aura protecting their bodies. However, we just need to find a way to restrain them, Sima Yue said. "To deal with them, people with fire, wood, and lightning attributes will do. Even if people of other attributes went, it would be useless. Also, you have to be careful not to let them get close to your body, because they will suck your soul." "Thank you, young master, for the information." The River City Lord cupped his hands towards Sima Yue. "Young master, are you going back to the city?" Sima Yue saw that the east was already turning white and shook her head. "I still have things to do, so I won't be going back." "Young master, what are you going to do? Do you need my help?" the City Lord asked. "No need," Sima Yue said. "I'm going over there to take a look. You can't help me even if you want to." "You're going over there?" Everyone looked at her in surprise. "Yes, I'm going to take a look," Sima Yue said. "Feng 1, Feng 2, you don't have to follow me this time. Go back to the inn and protect my brothers." "But young master, I don't like disobedient people around me," Sima Yue said. Feng 1 and Feng 2 were silent for a while before saying in unison, "We understand. We will protect their safety. If it's not safe here, let them leave Zhongzhou. Don't wait for me," she added. "Yes, young master." Sima Yue nodded towards the River City Lord and called out Chongming and Xiaomeng. She brought them to the other side of the river. "Thank you, everyone." Chapter 752. The following is provided for you. 752. Please enjoy. City Lord Xiao saw that Sima Yue had left and Feng 1 and Feng 2 did not follow. He could not help but ask, "Aren't you worried about your young master?" "Young master has always been a man of his word. Even if we go, we won't be of much help," Feng 1 said. "City Lord Xiao, we still have to go back and protect young master's brother and companions. Goodbye." Feng 1 and Feng 2 cupped their hands towards City Lord Xiao and turned to leave. City Lord Xiao watched them leave and asked the people behind him, "Do you think what they said is credible?" "City Lord, I think what they said should be correct." The situation of those corpses does not seem like something an ordinary person could do. If it was done by people from the ghost realm, then the abnormality of the corpses can be explained. I also think that the possibility is higher. Another person agreed. No matter how strong the person who entered Bright Red Mountain Peak is, the result is the same. Moreover, it was always done silently. If it was not done by the other world, then there is no other reason. That's right. But since he did not know that they were from the ghost realm, why did he cross the river and go to Bright Red Mountain Peak? I think he should have a way to restrain those ghosts. City Lord Xiao said, "Look here. There should have been a battle before we arrived, and the result was obviously her victory. No matter what, he dared to go to Bright Red Mountain Peak alone. This is worthy of respect. The last time someone went, you scolded him for being stupid. How did it become respect this time? The last time, those people did not even understand the cause of the matter, and did not know how to deal with it. If they were not stupid, then what was? But he is different. He knows the cause and has a way to deal with it. For the peace of the ancient primordial lands, he went alone to solve the problem. If this is not worthy of respect, then what is? How do you know that he will be fine? Maybe they'll stay there forever like the people before them. Didn't you see that the two monarch-ranked experts did not follow him? Although they were worried, they did not insist on going. This means that they believe in him, and that he will not be in danger this time. Only you know. City Lord Xiao said. Let's go back. After what happened tonight, I am afraid that the entire Mushui city will not be peaceful tomorrow. I hope they won't tear down my City Lord mansion. City Lord, if those people ask about the situation, what should we say? City Lord Xiao was silent for a while before saying, "Tell me the truth." He was afraid that once the primordial lands found out the truth, it would cause another storm. Fatty Chu had been waiting in the house for Sima Yuyu the entire time, but in the end, only Feng 1 and Feng 2 returned. Yuyu's shadow was nowhere to be seen, so he hurriedly pulled the two of them aside to ask. Feng 1 and Feng 2 told them about what happened last night. When they heard that Sima Yuyu really had a way to deal with the ghost clan, they heaved a sigh of relief. That's right, Crimson Flames are the bane of all darkness, and so is lightning. Yuyu's lightning attribute cultivation method has already reached a certain level. If this is still not enough to deal with them, you can still attract heavenly tribulation. Wei Ziqi said. The elders of the Egret clan are much stronger than us. If we go, we will become a burden to her. Ouyang Fei said. Looks like we have to go into seclusion to cultivate after we go back to the academy. Yu has already left us too far behind. We have to work hard to catch up. Otherwise, we won't be able to keep up with her. Bei Gongtang said as well. Yu was already a beginner divine saint expert, while they had just advanced to divine overlord. Fatty Chu hadn't even advanced to divine overlord, so he couldn't even fly on his own. Although Yuyu's achievements were related to her 2 years of experience, luck was also a part of strength. Fatty Chu thought about the gap between them, and lowered his head in self-abasement. Bei Gongtang saw him like that and patted his shoulder saying, "You're also very powerful. You'll be able to catch up to us in no time." That's right, Fatty Chu. If you put your thoughts on cultivation instead of eating, you'll be able to catch up to us in no time. Wei Ziqi said with a smile. Fatty Chu walks the path of cultivation. Even if his cultivation can't compare to ours, his battle prowess isn't any worse than ours. Sima Yuran said. Fatty Chu saw that everyone was comforting him and broke into a smile. At the same time, he secretly decided that he would work hard to cultivate when he returned and try his best to catch up to them. On the morning of the second day, the entire city knew about what happened last night. When the people in the city heard that a divine paragon had been killed, they all ran to the city lord's residence to confirm. The news that came from the city lord's residence was even more shocking. The strange things that happened in Bright Red Mountain Peak, and outside of Mushui City, were all done by ghosts. When this news came out, everyone was in an uproar. Many of the cowards left Mushui City that day, and some of the braver ones didn't dare to go out, wondering if they should go back. There were also some who contacted their sects to ask about their next move. And this news spread throughout the entire central province in less than a day. This speed was shocking. Those large sects also had their own responsibilities. When they knew that ghosts had appeared in bright red mountain peak, they all sent people over. Because of Mushui City's reminder. Those who came later were of the wood, fire and lightning attributes. In these 2 days, more people came than left. Mushui City was more lively than ever. City Lord Xiao had been welcoming people from various sects these 2 days. Normally, he wouldn't have to do this, but this time, the situation was special. The people who came were of higher status, and they came to solve the bright red mountain peak issue, which indirectly protected the safety of Mushui City. City Lord Xiao, I have something to ask City Lord Xiao. An old man stood by the river, looking across the river with a serious expression. Chou Xiaotian and his master were standing behind him, showing his noble status. Please speak, Sect Master Wang. Xiao Yi nodded slightly at the old man. The passers-by were wondering who Xiao Yi was accompanying, but after hearing Xiao Yi's greeting, they realized that this old man was Zhengyang Sect's Sect Master Wang Shi. City Lord Xiao, before this, no one knew that the bright red mountain peak incident was done by ghosts. How did you know? Wang Shi asked. I'm ashamed to say this, but I didn't think of it first. Xiao Yi said. I only found out after receiving advice from others. Advice from others? Who is it? Chou Xiaotian's master Yu Tianyuan asked. To be able to discover this before City Lord Xiao, could it be an expert from somewhere? Not at all. Xiao Yi said. That person is just a 30-year-old kid. A 30-year-old kid can discover the truth behind this? Yu Tianyuan couldn't believe it. Indeed. City Lord Xiao didn't feel embarrassed to say it, and recounted the events of that night from beginning to end. When Chou Xiaotian heard this, he blurted out. You're not talking about that kid Yue, are you? I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 753. The following is provided for you. 753. Please enjoy. I sent someone to investigate. That person is indeed called Sima Yue. Xiao Yi said, why does young Master Chou know her? I know her, of course I know her. Chou Xiaotian said. I told senior brother that a friend told me that this was done by the ghost clan, and was reprimanded by senior brother. It was Yue who told me. She told you? Wang Shi asked. Yes, Sect Master. Chou Xiaotian recounted how he met Sima Yue and the rest in the small village. Xiaotian, how do you know her? Yu Tianyuan asked. Master, I told you before that I was able to come back alive from the Heavenly Tiger Ridge, because of her help. Chou Xiaotian said. You did say that a group of people helped you. Yu Tianyuan said. Since you told Mu Gang, why didn't you report it to the sect? Wang Shi's face darkened. Because senior brother and the rest said that it was wrong. It was impossible for someone from the ghost realm to come. So he told me not to say anything. He also said that he would tell Master not to worry. I thought that he had already told Master. Chou Xiaotian lowered his eyes, hiding his thoughts. Who asked you to make things difficult for me? If I don't make you pay, I'm not Chou Xiaotian. Hiding such an important matter and not reporting it, it would be strange if the sect didn't punish him. If he wanted to court death, no one could stop him. Wang Shi didn't know that Mu Gang and the rest were ostracizing Chou Xiaotian, but Yu Tianyuan knew. However, he had mentioned it twice and didn't want Mu Gang to act like this even though he agreed on the surface. Sect Master, let's investigate this matter later. Right now, we have to think of a way to solve the Bright Red Mountain Ridge issue. Yu Tianyuan said. Wang Shi nodded. It was not appropriate to deal with the sex matters outside. What about that little friend? After she told me the truth, she crossed the river and went to the Bright Red Mountain Ridge. It has already been 2 days. Xiao Yi said. What? Yue went to the Bright Red Mountain Ridge? Chou Xiaotian exclaimed, attracting the attention of the crowd. They were all guessing who exactly went there. I saw the people around her today. She didn't bring anyone with her? No, she didn't bring her 2 bodyguards, she went alone. Mui said. What? She actually went alone. How could she go alone? No, I have to find her. Cho Xiaotian said and wanted to leave, crossing the river. Stop right there. Yu Tianyuan shouted. What's the point of going there other than throwing your life away? But she went there alone. Cho Xiaotian said worriedly. Don't worry, Xiaotian. Wang Shi said. Her bodyguards are all monarch-level experts. Since she didn't bring any, it means that she has enough confidence. That's right. Could it be that you think you're stronger than a monarch-rank expert? Yu Tianyuan glared at him unhappily. That's right. Xiaoyi said. That young master's bodyguard wanted to go with her at that time, but was left behind by her. This means that she doesn't need an ordinary person to accompany her. If you go, you might even drag them down. Yu Tianyuan's words were very straightforward, giving Cho Xiaotian a huge blow. Master. Cho Xiaotian looked at his master speechlessly. However, the impulse in his heart had been suppressed. They were right. If she didn't bring her bodyguards, it meant that they would be a burden to her. If he went to find her, he might really drag her down. That's right, Fatty and the others definitely know about Yu's situation. Master, sect leader, I'll go ask them. Go. Yu Tianyuan actually doted on this disciple. As long as there was no danger, he could do whatever he wanted. Cho Xiaotian left, and Wang Shi asked Xiao Yi. I wonder what City Lord Xiao plans on this matter? We can't let a little child be responsible for the entire continent, right? Sect leader Wang is right. Xiao Yi said, that's why I'm going to discuss with everyone, and see if we can send some people to investigate. Wang Shi nodded. As a power of the continent, we also have to fulfill our obligations. If you want to go, my Zhenyang sect will fully support you. Thank you, sect leader Wang. Xiao Yi bowed to him. We're just doing what we should do. Wang Shi said, I wonder how that little friend is doing over there. Sima Yue was currently fighting with a group of evil spirits. These evil spirits were different from the ones they had met before. Those ghosts had their own thoughts, but these evil spirits didn't have their own thoughts at all. They were just puppets that were being controlled. They didn't know when to advance or retreat. They only knew how to follow orders and wouldn't give up until they reached their goal. Furthermore, their strength was much higher than the average ghost. Sima Yue didn't use Crimson Flames to deal with them. Instead, she used fire elemental magic to weave a rain of fire towards the evil spirits. Those evil spirits were still a little afraid of Sima Yue's fire. They didn't have their master's death aura, so their own death aura wasn't enough to deal with her. Soon, the first wave of evil spirits was completely annihilated. However, before Sima Yue could catch her breath, the second wave of evil spirits came. Before the second wave was completely annihilated, the third wave came. Thousands and thousands of evil spirits surrounded her, fighting to be the first to tear her apart. What the hell? Why are there so many evil spirits? Sima Yue's body ignited with a ball of flames. The scorching heat caused the evil spirits to retreat a few steps, not daring to move forward rashly. Since you're all so enthusiastic, I'll treat you all to a feast. She condensed her lightning elemental spiritual energy, causing the dark clouds in the sky to descend lightning under her control, striking the evil spirits. Lightning was originally a punishment of justice. The evil spirits were considered filthy beings. When the lightning struck them, they were directly struck into thin air. Yue's move was different from the lightning elemental attacks that others used. Normally, others would directly use lightning elemental attacks. However, she merged with the heavens and earth, causing the sky to change and forming lightning. Although the power of this move wasn't as strong as the lightning tribulation, it was more than enough to deal with these evil spirits. Sensing the terrifying aura in the air, the evil spirits were only stunned for a moment before they charged towards Sima Yue again. What a bunch of idiots! Sima Yue couldn't help but curse when she saw the evil spirits charging towards her like moths to a flame. Withdraw! A cold voice came from the top of a hill far away. Following his shout, all the evil spirits retreated. Sima Yue looked over, and saw a figure standing there with a white sail in his hand. The evil spirits that were attacking her all flew towards the white sail and disappeared. That person glanced at her. His gaze was filled with the aura of death, causing people to be tired of life and want to end their own lives. That person only glanced at her and didn't have the intention to continue fighting with her. He turned around and jumped down the hill to leave. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 754. Sima Yue retracted her lightning attribute spiritual energy, and the dark clouds in the sky quickly dissipated. She chased in the direction that the man had disappeared, but when she reached the hills, the man had disappeared. Xiaomeng, what did you see just now? Sima Yue asked Xiaomeng. Xiaomeng appeared by her side. Her small face no longer had the usual naivety, nor did it have the evil charm when she tricked others. Instead, she solemnly looked into the distance and said, Yu, if I'm not mistaken, that's the 100 Ghost Banner. 100 Ghosts Banner? What's that? Is it scary? Sima Yue looked at Xiaomeng's expression and guessed that it must be something extraordinary. It's a netherworld artifact used to refine souls. Little Dream said, my inheritance didn't specifically mention this thing. It only said that if you meet someone who has the 100 Ghost Banner, you have to stay far away and not confront them directly. Your ancestors still pass these down? The boundary between the devil realm and the ghost realm is not as difficult as the human realm. There are still some people who interact with each other. Little Dream said, that's why the devil realm knows a thing or two about the ghost realm. But since it's not the same world, I don't know much about it. Since the inheritance said so, it means that this thing is very powerful. Sima Yue rubbed her chin and said, so many evil spirits were sucked back at once. You must be the thing controlling the evil spirits. If he could get his hands on this, wouldn't it be awesome when he went to the world of spirits and souls in the future? Who didn't take the time to look at, you closed the door and released evil spirits. Ha ha ha. Yu, your idea is not bad. However, those who possess the 100 Ghost Banner are not ordinary people. Since they dared to come to the primordial lands, their master should be very powerful. If you want to steal his treasures, you'll have to deal with him first. That's true. Sima Yue sighed and put this thought aside. Little Dream, is it really useful for Mo Sha to absorb those souls? I think so. Little Dream wasn't sure either. Aren't they all souls? That's true. They're all souls, so they might be able to complement each other. Sima Yue said, since that's the case, let's go look for those souls. Let's first complete the objective of entering this place before thinking about the loss of the netherworld artifact. But we don't know which direction to go now. Little Dream said. It's okay, I know. Sima Yue took out a few scarlet bees and instructed. You guys should be more sensitive to smell, right? Sniff out that person's scent for me, and then take us there. Those scarlet bees circled around in the air, and then flew in the direction that the man had left. Yu, can the bees find those people? Little Dream asked. I don't know. Let's try, Sima Yue said with uncertainty. He had always used the scarlet bees to track others, but he had never used them to track someone before. Whether this method would work or not, he would only know after trying it out. Practice proved that this method was not feasible, because they had not gone far before the aura was cut off, and they could not find his position at all. As for the scarlet bees, because they had smelled too much death energy, they had lost their spirit. Thank you for your hard work. Go back and rest. Sima Yue kept the scarlet bees. Yu, what do we do now? Little Dream asked. I don't know. Let's just walk around and take a look. Sima Yue said. They flew towards the center of bright red mountain peak. Along the way, they saw many human and animal corpses. They had all died tragically, and some of them were only left with broken bones. Those people from the ghost realm are so cruel. Little Dream's memories were sealed, and she was now as pure as a piece of white paper. Although she was with Sima Yue, she had not experienced many tragic situations. Now that she saw such a tragic scene, her little face scrunched up. The people from the other world are more cruel. Sima Yue said, the people from the devil realm and ghost realm are naturally bloodthirsty, and their fighting power is stronger than humans. That's why humans are so against them coming over. The heavens protect the weak, so it's much harder for the people from the devil realm and ghost realm to come to the human world. I don't know why these people from the ghost realm suddenly came to the primordial lands. Could it be that they were brought here by someone? Little Dream asked. We'll know when the time comes. Sima Yue said. We'll only know the truth when we find those people from the ghost realm. Roar. When the two of them were passing through a forest, a sharp flute sound rang out. Following that, all the spirit beasts in the mountain roared, and all the beasts went crazy. No matter if they were running on the ground or flying in the air, they all attacked them. You. Let me do it. Little Dream stood up and flipped her hands in the air. Sima Yue saw a clear wave spread out from her body. Those wild spirit beasts were stunned after being hit by the clear wave. And many birds fell from the sky because they forgot to flap their wings. The other party did not expect Little Dream to control these spirit beasts so easily. That sharp flute sound rang out again. And this time it was even more hurried. Those spirit beasts' eyes flashed with struggle. And they moved again, running towards Sima Yue. However, under Little Dream's influence, their movements became much slower. If a tiger doesn't show its might, you'll think that I'm a sick cat. Little Dream stomped her foot, and her hands formed a seal. Waves of clear waves spread out from her body. Those spirit beasts were controlled by both parties, and they were in great pain. Pung. Some spirit beasts could not stand it, and after wailing, they chose to self-destruct to end the pain. Sima Yue widened her eyes. How could this be? These spirit beasts were so pitiful. They were in so much pain even before death. Pung. One after another, the spirit beasts could not stand the pain and chose to self-destruct, and the scene was tragic. Sima Yue could not bear to see it anymore, and began to close her eyes to concentrate, looking for the culprit hiding in the forest. Found it. Sima Yue opened her eyes and turned her gaze to a corner of the forest. Then, she condensed her lightning attribute spiritual energy, and a bolt of lightning attacked. That person was hit, and the instrument in his hand could no longer be played. Those spirit beasts all stopped. Little Dream, attack that person. Sima Yue roared. Little Dream received the order, and flew up from Chongming's body. While flying over, she attacked. Nightmare Beast. The other party exclaimed, and flew out from the forest. He looked at Little Dream with shock and a trace of fear. You're quite knowledgeable. Little Dream sneered, and her smile was exactly the same as Sima Yue's. You guys actually did such inhumane things. Today I'll definitely teach you a lesson. Ha. A nightmare beast actually said such inhumane things. How could you have the nerve to do that? That person laughed. What do you mean? Little Dream frowned, and looked at that person. What do I mean? Aren't you a nightmare beast? You don't even know what your own people did. Haha. When Sima Yue heard this, she frowned and shouted, Little Dream, kill him. Chapter 755. The following is provided for you. 755. Please enjoy. Xiaoming's memories were sealed, but she had seen it before. She did not know how much blood the Dream Talkers had caused, but from the first time Xiaoming saw it, the Dream Talkers had really done some cruel things. But those things had nothing to do with Xiaoming. Before the seal was lifted, she did not want Xiaoming to know. Xiaoming saw that Sima Yue's reaction was a little strong, but she did not think much of it, and attacked that person fiercely with all her might. That person did not have the time to speak, and also used all his strength to counterattack. Sima Yue watched Xiaoming and that person fight, and realized that although Xiaoming's strength was not weak, the other party's strength was not as strong as hers, but the other party's combat experience was much stronger than hers. She could not take her down in a short time. Xiaoming retreat. Sima Yue gathered lightning attribute spiritual energy and shouted. Xiaoming retreated the moment she received the order. At the same time, the lightning accurately struck that person's body. That person was injured by Xiaoming and then struck by Sima Yue. Especially the latter, she was simply the nemesis of all nemeses. With this forceful strike, that person was directly struck to the ground. Sima Yue formed a green vine with wood attribute spiritual energy, and tied that person up. She flew over and looked at that person who had fallen to the ground, saying, "The people of the ghost clan are no different from the people of the human realm. Their faces will be scorched black." Yu, he fainted. Xiaoming landed beside her and said, It's good that he fainted. It's easier for me to do my thing if he fainted." Sima Yue waved her hand and said, "Go and deal with those spirit beasts. Let them go back." Xiaoming turned around and looked at those spirit beasts with dull eyes. Sima Yue looked at those spirit beasts and sighed, saying, "These spirit beasts have already lost their minds. If we let them go, they will probably unconsciously hurt other people. Why don't we kill them all? It'll also give them a quick death." Xiaoming looked at those spirit beasts and said, Yu, there are so many spirit beasts. It'll be a pity to kill them all. But we can't let them go out and hurt others. Sima Yue said, "There are many people who are not strong. These spirit beasts have lost their minds and become even more violent. Who killed the most lives? We may have killed so many spirit beasts, but we may have protected even more people. I have a way to control them." Little Dream said, "Once I control them and place them in the spirit pagoda, I won't have to kill them. And if we meet someone in the future, we can let them take the lead." Sima Yue looked at Little Dream and flicked her forehead, saying, "You want them to lead the way for you in the future. That's your ultimate goal, right?" Xiaoming didn't feel awkward about being exposed. She giggled and said, "But it's true that they can live. They are so pitiful. If we just kill them, they will be even more pitiful." "Do you really have a way to control them?" Sima Yue asked uncertainly. "Don't worry, I can do this." Xiaoming patted her chest and said, "You know these things?" Sima Yue looked at her in surprise. "Of course." Xiaoming said, "These spirit beasts have lost their minds because their divine sense has been invaded by the ghost qi. If they met an ordinary person, they wouldn't be able to do anything. But who asked them to meet my nightmare beast? When it comes to divine sense control, if we say we are second, no one would dare to say they are first." "You're really cocky." Sima Yue patted her head. "Since you have a way, then do it. When the time comes, keep them in the spirit pagoda. When you meet those people again, you won't have to do anything." Xiaoming laughed and went to control those spirit beasts. Sima Yue squatted beside the person who was tied up. She put one hand on her knee and the other hand on her chin, saying, "How should I deal with you? Should I kill you directly or keep you and torture you slowly, just like how you tortured those people?" The person lying on the ground didn't move at all. "You're still pretending to be dead? Do you think you can escape by pretending to be dead?" Sima Yue said. "If you want to die, then pretend to be dead. I'll let you really die, how about that?" The person who was struck black like charcoal on the ground finally moved a little, and opened his eyes. "Why aren't you pretending anymore?" Sima Yue smiled and asked. The person on the ground looked at Sima Yue's smile, and felt a chill in his heart. It was as if she was the messenger who crawled out from hell. "What do you want?" the man asked. "That depends on what you do," Sima Yue said faintly. After Xiaoming finished controlling all the spirit beasts in the mountain range and returned, Sima Yue was torturing that person bit by bit. Yu, why are you still keeping him?" "I'm prying open his mouth," Sima Yue said. "You're done so quickly." They're all under control. But if you want them to be completely obedient, you still need some time. You can handle this in the spirit pagoda," Xiaoming said. "Then let's go in first." Sima Yue flashed, and led the mountain of spirit beasts and that person from the ghost clan into the spirit pagoda. That person looked at the sudden change in environment, and was astonished. "Little rascal, don't be surprised. This is my space. In here, everything will listen to me," Sima Yue said. "Little spirit, look after him. Don't let him die." Little spirit appeared beside her, and looked at the person on the ground with disgust. With a look of disgust he said, "Such a disgusting thing, why did you bring it in? Of course it's useful." Sima Yue said, "I still want to pry some things about the ghost realm out of his mouth." "What things?" Little spirit asked. Recently you and Ling Long are stuck together like glue. You don't even care about the outside world. Xiaoming chewed on a spirit fruit and teased. I didn't. Little Spirit flatly denied. Little Spirit has been sleeping recently. Sima Yue defended him. Are you feeling unwell? Probably because you have absorbed too much of the lightning energy. I have also absorbed some. Recently, I have been digesting this energy, Little Spirit said. Then how are you now? Are you feeling better? Sima Yue asked worriedly. And no problem. I have absorbed almost all of it. Little Spirit nodded. Then do you still have the energy to take care of this place? Xiaoming did not believe him. Little Spirit lifted his chin and asked, Is it to take care of this person? Sima Yue nodded. What happened to you recently? Little Spirit asked. Sima Yue's thoughts moved and Little Spirit knew what happened recently. Good, this guy dares to let so many spirit beasts come to kill you. Little Spirit angrily stepped forward and kicked that person. I will let him have a good taste of this feeling of not being able to live and not being able to die. Actively cooperate with the Special Action to Combat Obscene and Pornographic Information on the Internet. Please report. Thank you everyone. Chapter 756. The following is provided for you. 756. Please enjoy. Sima Yue saw that Little Spirit was so excited and did not stop him. She just crossed her arms in front of her chest and said, Remember, don't kill him. Don't worry, he won't die. With me here, he will understand that death is also an impossible luxury. Little Spirit said confidently. That's good. I've been a little tired recently, so I'm going to rest. I'll leave him to you. It's best if you can get some information out of him. Sima Yue said. Okay, you go. Sima Yue looked at Little Dream and asked, Do you want to rest with me? Little Dream watched with interest as Little Spirit took care of that guy. When she heard Sima Yue's words, she didn't even lift her eyelids and said, You go ahead. I'll play with Little Spirit. Sima Yue looked at her shining eyes and shook her head and walked away. At the same time, the ghost wanted to self-destruct to end his pain, but suddenly found that he could not move the death energy in his body. Want to self-destruct? Not to mention the door. There's no window. Little Spirit looked at him condescendingly and said, Want to wait for me to leave before you die? Then I'll have to disappoint you. No matter where I am, everything here is under my control. How do you know what I'm thinking? The ghost looked at Little Spirit in shock. Little Spirit smiled proudly. You still don't know where this is? You don't know my identity? Where is this? This is the Spirit Pagoda and I'm the spirit here. You're in my body, so of course I know what you're thinking. Little Spirit said. It can be said that in here, you can do whatever I want. So your resistance is useless. Obediently tell me what you wants to know. Maybe you can live a little longer. I'm going to die anyway. The ghost's head tilted and looked like he was ready to die. Then we'll see. I hope that when the time comes, you can still say such words. Little Spirit did not boast and just looked at him coldly. Xiaoming finished eating a spirit fruit and shouted to Little Spirit, I'm done eating. With a thought from Little Spirit, a pile of spirit fruits appeared in front of Little Dream. She giggled and hugged all of them in her arms. She took one and continued to gnaw on it. She even moved over a stool to sit down and leisurely watched Little Spirit take care of that person. When Ye Guang and the others heard that the Ghost Clan's people were captured, they all came to watch the show. When they found out that he actually sent so many spirit beasts to kill Yue, each and every one of them were incomparably furious. They all requested Little Spirit to properly teach him a lesson. This was the first time that Little Spirit was being looked forward to by so many people. He nodded his little head and said, Don't worry, I will definitely make him regret being born into this world. After Sima Yue left, she went to the cultivation room. She had set up a spirit gathering array here, which made the spiritual energy even denser, allowing her to regulate her breathing faster. A day later, he came out of the room full of energy. He closed his eyes and sensed for a moment. After understanding the location of Little Spirit and the others, he rushed over in a flash. You came. Little Roar threw himself into Sima Yue's arms and looked at her as he said, You, when you go out, bring me along. I'm better at dealing with those dirty things. I want to go out too. Ling Long laid on Little Spirit's head and said lazily, Don't be anxious. Sima Yue stroked Little Roar's fur and said, No matter where I go, I will be attacked. I think that they are definitely secretly observing my situation. If you all go out and the other party knows about you, wouldn't they be able to guard against me? But it's very dangerous for you to go out alone, Little Roar said. With Little Meng around, there won't be too much danger, Sima Yue said. When there is danger, I will call you out. Wouldn't that be more effective to catch them off guard? That's true, Ling Long nodded. But if you meet those blind spirit beasts again, take me out and chop them up. This is much more convenient than slowly controlling them. What do you know? With those spirit beasts, Yu will have a suicide squad if she wants to fight in the future. Little Meng retorted. Sima Yue could not help but laugh at Little Meng's nickname. She had mentioned the suicide squad before, but she did not expect Little Meng to remember it. It was just that when these words came out from her little mouth, it made her feel as if she had traveled through time. All right, let's talk about these things later. She persuaded the two of them, then asked Little Spirit, Did you get anything out of him? With me going out, of course there won't be any problems, Little Spirit said. He said some basic information, but he might not have gotten everything. If you still have any questions, we can ask him now. Send me the information, Sima Yue said. Little Spirit nodded. With a thought, Sima Yue received the information she wanted. With so few people, they actually killed everyone in the bright red mountain peak? She sorted out the information, and the more she read, the more shocked she became. Although there are very few people, their strength is not weak. However, I don't know what kind of identity the owner has to actually have so many capable people, Little Meng said. What I'm more curious about is how he came to the human realm. Sima Yue said, It's hard for people from the ghost realm to come over, but he actually brought a few people over. He's not even afraid of being destroyed after coming. It's a pity that this person's rank is not high. He's only an executor, so he doesn't know the inside story. Little Meng said. It's okay, we've already gotten a lot of information, Sima Yue said. At least we don't have to look around like headless flies. But we still don't know how strong those people are. If we just go like this, wouldn't it be too dangerous? Thousand Resonance said. Then we'll go and catch someone who knows the inside story. Sima Yue said. We'll get closer to the center bit by bit. We'll definitely meet someone who'll stop us. The higher the rank of the person, the more they know. When the time comes, they'll just catch them one by one and interrogate them. We just don't know if Mo Sha can absorb those souls. Will there be any effect if he does? Sima Yue sighed and said, Let's go. The earlier we solve the problem, the earlier we'll know the result. Okay. She didn't bring Little Meng out this time. She left her in the spirit pagoda to continue controlling those spirit beasts. She wanted to use her in the next attack. She stayed in the spirit pagoda for a day, but only 2 hours had passed outside. She called out Chongming and flew towards the direction that person said. A few more days passed, and in these few days, she encountered a few more assassinations. There were 2 times when she controlled the spirit beasts to attack, but Yue didn't do anything. She let Little Meng control the spirit beasts to attack. And she still targeted the person controlling the spirit beasts. With a lightning strike, she successfully captured another prisoner. Unfortunately, this person was the same as the previous one. He was also the lowest ranked person, and didn't know more information. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 757. The following is provided for you, 757. Please enjoy. Sima Yue flew for a few more days before she saw a bigger city. I wonder if the teleportation formation here can be used. She flew above the city. The entire city was silent without a single sound, as if it was a dead city. Chongming, let's go down. Sima Yue patted Chongming's back. Chongming brought her down to the streets. There's still the smell of blood here. Chongming said. But it seems like it's been a long time. The smell is not as strong. Maybe it's because the disaster happened a long time ago. Sima Yue said. Let's go see if there's a teleportation formation in the city. Ever since the strange incident at Bright Red Mountain Peak spread, the surrounding cities had closed all the teleportation formations that led here. She had to find the teleportation formation herself after coming here. Those teleportation formations, I don't think they can be used anymore. Little Dream said. It doesn't matter if they're rotten, as long as the spatial coordinates are still there. Sima Yue said. As long as she had the spatial coordinates, she could set up her own teleportation formation. Thinking of this, she felt that her decision to learn about formations back then was the right one. In this vast continent, if she didn't know how to use a teleportation formation, then she would have to spend half of her life traveling. There's movement on the other side of the city, Chongming said. Let's go and take a look. The three of them hurriedly flew over. When they arrived, they saw a group of people facing off against a group of spirit beasts at the city gate. Go to the city, someone shouted. What's the use of going to the city? A bearded man roared. The city here is empty, the defense formation is gone too. Even if we go in, these fellows will follow us in. Then what do we do? Could it be that only death awaits us? A woman said with a sobbing tone. Senior sister, don't be afraid. If we retreat to the city, we can take a breather. Another youth in white said. Roar. A spirit beast roared from behind. The spirit beasts in front attacked even more fiercely. Two of them jumped to the city gate and blocked the people's path of retreat. The spirit beasts have blocked our escape route. A baby-faced woman stabbed her sword into the heart of the spirit beast in front of her. She looked up and saw the spirit beasts blocking the door. She took out another sword and attacked one of them. Her speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, she appeared in front of the spirit beast and stabbed towards its glabella. Although the spirit beast had lost its mind, its movements were still very agile. When the baby-faced girl stabbed at it, it tilted its head and at the same time, its huge paw slapped towards her. The woman's sword stabbed into the thick leather armor of the spirit beast, but it was completely useless. However, she also used the momentum to quickly retreat, dodging the fatal slap. Yu, should we help them? Little Dream asked from afar. Sima Yue recalled that Xiao Yi had mentioned that some people had entered the Bright Red Mountain Peak a while ago. It must be these people. We're all here to solve this problem. Since we've met, we should help. Sima Yue said. All right. Little Dream nodded and flew to the top of the city wall. She looked at the people fighting outside and tried to control them. Roar. The spirit beast behind felt Little Dream's attack and roared, counterattacking. Compete with me in spiritual attacks. Little Dream shouted, her hands forming seals even more frequently. She didn't know how that spirit beast was controlled. Although Little Dream's attack made it feel a little uncomfortable, it didn't take it down. As for the other spirit beasts, without its control, their fierce gazes became lax and their attacks were not as strong. Seize the opportunity. The full-bearded man shouted, reminding his companions who were stunned by this turn of events. SSSSS. The woman who spoke before wasn't focused and her head almost exploded from the spirit beast's claw. The full-bearded man pulled her to the side, but his arm was scratched by the spirit beast. Blood instantly dyed his clothes red. Don't be in a daze. He shouted at the woman and attacked the spirit beasts. Sima Yue looked at the people below who were still at a disadvantage and shook her head slightly, saying, Chongming, you go too. Chongming flew over and stood in the air. His normal pupils turned into two pupils as he stared straight at the spirit beasts below. Explode. He shouted in a low voice. The spirit beast that the full-bearded man was struggling to deal with suddenly exploded. The full-bearded man reacted quickly and quickly dodged, but he was still splashed with a lot of flesh and blood. However, he didn't care and turned to deal with the other spirit beasts. However, he didn't hit much before the spirit beast exploded again. The white-clothed youth who was close to the spirit beast didn't dodge, and had his flesh and blood explode. It was very disgusting. The youth was stunned when the flesh and blood sprayed towards him. He blankly reached out to touch the flesh and blood on his face. He was extremely disgusted. When fighting with spirit beasts, he would try his best not to be stained with blood. Now that he was sprayed with flesh and blood all over his body, he couldn't help but want to vomit. Just as he was in a daze, another spirit beast next to him exploded. This time, fresh blood directly fell from his head, and his clothes were all bloody. Endure. Continue to endure. In the end, he couldn't take it anymore and ran to the side to vomit. Sima Yue landed on the city wall. Seeing Chongming deal with those spirit beasts so simply and crudely, she couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. That fellow who was vomiting to the sky and earth must have mysophobia, right? Very quickly, Xiaoming took care of the spirit beast's head. Those people also took care of the other spirit beasts with Chongming's help. Xiaoming returned to Sima Yue's side. She looked at the people below and said, "Those spirit beasts died just like that. It's too wasteful." Chongming came down and heard her words. He smiled and said, "You have so many. It doesn't matter if you don't want these few. It's better to have more." Xiaoming said, "Then I'll leave them for you next time." Xiaoming only smiled when Chongming said this. Those people originally thought that they would definitely die this time. They didn't expect to be saved. "This one is Blue Blade. We are disciples of the heroic sword sect. Thank you for saving our lives." A blue-clothed man cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and thanked her. Heroic sword sect? That first-rate sect that focused on cultivating the body and the sword? Sima Yue felt that it was too bloody and didn't want to go down. She said, "I was just passing by and gave you a hand. Everyone has just experienced a huge battle. Why don't you return to the city to wash up and rest?" Those people also had the same idea. After bowing to her, they flew over the city wall. "May I know our benefactor's name?" Blue Blade landed beside Sima Yue and asked politely. "Sima Yue." Sima Yue said. "Young Master Sima, do you know where there is water here?" The baby-faced girl asked. Sima Yue shook her head and said, "We just arrived here. We heard some commotion and came over to take a look. We haven't entered anyone's house yet. Since there are people here, they should have water. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the Special Action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone." Chapter 758. The following is provided for you. 758. Please enjoy. Their group returned to the city. Blue Blade and the rest left to look for a water source. Sima Yue, Little Dream and Chongming strolled around the city, looking at the situation. Since they had met these people, they were not in a hurry to leave. They had arrived here before her, so they might know something about the situation. This city isn't small, but there are no survivors. Those ghost clansmen can't be that powerful. Little Dream said. "You think it's strange too?" Sima Yue asked. "According to the information provided by the two people we captured, their strength isn't particularly strong. It's too impossible for them to destroy a city together." Little Dream said what she was thinking. "Yeah," Sima Yue said. "I think so too. Could there be other reasons that we don't know?" Little Dream said. "Chongming, what do you think?" Sima Yue looked at Chongming. "I think that maybe they aren't the same people," Chongming said. "Not the same people? That's my guess too," Chongming said. "The people we met before, maybe they aren't together." Sima Yue followed Chongming's thoughts. Suddenly, she clapped her hands and said, "Maybe it's true. We met a group of people who use spirit beasts as their main attacking force, and another group who used evil spirits as their attacking force. The people who controlled the spirit beasts were obviously weaker, while the evil spirits were much stronger. Because they took turns to attack us, we subconsciously thought that they were together. Perhaps they are from two different forces. If they aren't together, then there are two groups of people?" Little Dream said. "That's strange. Usually, people rarely come here, but there are two groups. Moreover, they are only active in Red Mountain Peak, and not anywhere else. That's because the people who used evil spirits to attack cannot leave this area for some reason. They can only move around Red Mountain Peak. The other group is here to kill them. Blue Blade walked out of the house and explained. Sima Yue and the rest then noticed that they had walked to the place where Blue Blade and the rest were washing up. How did you know? Sima Yue nodded at him and asked. My heroic sword sect sent hundreds of people this time, but only a few of us are left. If we can't even find out this little bit of information, then wouldn't our disciples have died for nothing? Blue Blade said sadly. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Brother Sima, there's no need to apologize. It's not your fault. Blue Blade said. Before we came in, we didn't think that this trip would be so dangerous. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to report back to the sect. Young Master Lan, you're able to become the blue sword of your sect at such a young age. I'm afraid the sect won't blame you too much. Sima Yue comforted. You know us? Blue Blade asked in surprise. I do. Sima Yue said, the heroic sword sect is a large sect that integrates body refinement and cultivation. It is split into two factions. The left faction focuses on spirit cultivation, and body refinement is secondary. The right faction focuses on body refinement and spirit cultivation is secondary. The right faction is further split into red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, 7 different factions. The eldest disciples are named after their colors. The few of you should belong to the right faction. As for you, you're the eldest disciple of the blue faction, right? Young Master Sima seems to know quite well. Blue Blade said with a smile. I've heard a friend mention it. Sima Yue said. In the past, when she was drinking and chatting with Qin Mo had mentioned that there was a sect in the central regions. They were very righteous and many of them were men worth befriending. They were much better than the sage pavilion that flaunted itself as holy and pure. I wonder which friend you are? Blue Blade asked. When he saw Sima Yue's flash of surprise, he felt that something was off and explained. This Blue Blade is just a little curious. That's because outsiders don't know much about the heroic sword sect. Someone who knows so much definitely has a special relationship with the heroic sword sect. If Brother Sima finds it inconvenient, you don't have to say it. I see. Sima Yue smiled and said. Actually, it's nothing much. It was Qin Mo who told me. Young Master Qin? Blue Blade was stunned when he heard Qin Mo's name. I never thought that Brother Sima would be young Master Qin's friend. I've been disrespectful. He and I only met by chance and shared similar interests. That's why we're closer. Sima Yue casually explained. She did not say that she was close to Qin Mo, nor did she say that their relationship was bad. Senior brothers, what are you talking about? The baby-faced girl walked out from the door and bowed towards Sima Yue and Chongming, saying, Thank you for saving my life today. I can't thank you enough. If you need anything from me, Zhou Lan, in the future, just let me know. Sima Yue had a good impression of this straightforward girl and smiled. There's no need to tell me anything. We were able to save you because of fate. Otherwise, how could we have met in such a big place like Bright Red Mountain Peak? No matter what, we will remember this. Zhou Lan's attitude was firm. She would remember Sima Yue's kindness today. Oh right. You said that you have some information about the Ghost Clan? Would it be convenient for you to tell me? Yue hasn't been here for long, and hasn't met anyone she can talk to. She's still in the dark. Sima Yue said. The 2 people in the Spirit Pagoda were automatically ignored by her. Why not? Blue Blade said. Actually, this information is something we came up with. If it's not accurate, I hope young master won't mind. You sacrificed so many disciples to obtain this information. Why would I mind if I got it for free? Sima Yue said. Senior brother, young Master Sima, this isn't a good place to talk. Why don't we talk inside? Zhou Lan suggested. Although there was no one in the city, it wasn't good to just stand outside the door. Thus, the group of people entered the seemingly new courtyard. Yue looked at the newly renovated house inside. This house has been rebuilt, but the people are gone. That's right. Zhou Lan said. If we hadn't personally come to Bright Red Mountain Peak, we wouldn't have dared to imagine that on this mainland, in such a short period of time, such an empty city could be formed. Thinking about the tragic scenes we saw in other places, It really makes one's hair stand on end. What's the situation like in other places? How many places have you been to? Sima Yue asked. They happened to walk into a courtyard and saw a pavilion. The few of them walked over and sat in the pavilion to talk. We've been here for 3 months, and what we've seen in the past 3 months is more tragic than what we've seen in the past. What's more, we've found that we can't get out after entering this place. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 759. The following is provided for you. 759. Please enjoy. Can't get out? What does that mean? Chongming frowned and asked in a low voice. It means that you can't get out. After reaching Bright Red Mountain Peak, if you want to leave, you will be pulled in by a force, making it impossible for you to take a step forward. Zhoulan said. When we arrived here, we realized that the situation was strange. It's not that we didn't want to leave, but the teleportation formation can't be used. Even if we reached the border was right in front of us, but we couldn't reach it. This should be the doing of those from the ghost realm, right? Sima Yue said. It didn't happen before. Blue Blade said. Didn't people come in and leave? Although their minds weren't complete, they still managed to leave. But now, we can't get out at all. The teleportation formation can't be used either. If we want to catch those from the ghost realm, we don't know where to find them. Sima Yue said. Actually, that's not the case. This Bright Red Mountain Peak is smaller than other places. We can fly from the east to the west in about a month. Blue Blade said. Sima Yue blinked. Was Bright Red Mountain Peak that small? She hadn't been in Mushui City for long. She didn't expect to arrive here so soon, so she didn't pay attention to this. What do you think is going on with the two forces killing each other? When we were flying, we happened to see 2 groups killing each other. They were spirit beasts and evil spirits. We heard them talking from afar. They said that they were chasing and killing each other. That's how we knew that they weren't on the same side. Then the ones chasing you are bad? Little Ming asked. Blue Blade shook his head and said, people from the ghost realm, how can they be good or bad? In their eyes, the other races are all enemies. Otherwise, why would the entire Bright Red Mountain Peak be destroyed? That's true. Sima Yue thought about how the controlled spirit beasts and evil spirits had attacked her. In their eyes, as long as it was a human, they should be killed. However, there were some differences. The ones who controlled the evil spirits were more vicious and cruel. We've been chased by both sides a few times. Every time, there would be disciples sacrificed. It seems that if we want to leave this place, we have to take care of both sides. Sima Yue said. At the same time, she sighed in her heart. She originally wanted to find some souls for Mo Sha to nourish his body, but she didn't expect to be trapped here. Yu, I feel that this trick of not being able to go out must be done by those evil spirits. Little Dream said with certainty. Why? Zhoulan saw that Xiaoming was so sure and thought that they knew something. Because before we entered Red Mountain Peak, we met some ghosts in Mushui City. Sima Yu explained. Because their ghosts can pass through, it's useless to set up this barrier. Naturally, this is what those people brought to the other party's spirit beasts. How did you come here alone? He asked. This is too dangerous. Zhoulan said. Knowing that it's the ghost clan's doing, and that it's starting to threaten the towns outside, how can we do nothing outside? Coincidentally, I have some ways to restrain the ghost clan, so I came over. When Sima Yue said this, she despised herself in her heart. Not to mention the beasts in the spirit pagoda, who were rolling their eyes. Young Master Sima is so righteous. It's rare to see you in this cold continent. Blue Blade patted Sima Yue's shoulder and said excitedly, if we can get out of here alive, this Blue Blade will definitely have a good drink with young Master Sima. Sima Yue's mouth twitched slightly. This guy, he was really so silly that he was cute. Could he not tell that she was just saying it casually? Those friends of yours, haven't they taken too long to take care of them? She felt that she couldn't be so shameless and quickly changed the topic. The beasts despised her once again. You also know that you're shameless? Sima Yue glared back in her heart. Actually, she also had some thoughts in mind, but it was just in passing. If they really let Mo Sha absorb those ghosts, then wouldn't the matter of Bright Red Mountain Peak be resolved? Although the starting point was different, the result would still be the same. There was no need to fuss over that small matter. Zhou Lan and the others didn't know about the thousands of twists and turns in her heart. They smiled and replied. The few of them are more or less misophobic. Previously, we were always on the run, so we didn't have the time to properly clean ourselves up. Now that we finally have the chance, I'm afraid the three of them won't be able to finish it in 2 to 3 hours. That's those two guys, not me. A clear voice came from the courtyard behind. Sima Yue recognized the voice of the bearded man. Big bearded man, even if you're faster than them, you're still slower than us. Did you go and wash those beards of yours? How many times have I told you, you have too much beard, it's best to shave it? Zhou Lan teased. I won't shave it. Only men with beards are handsome and mighty. Don't you think I'm more handsome when I have a beard? Big bearded man touched his beard and said narcissistically. Sima Yue saw that big bearded man had delicate features, a high nose bridge, fair skin and a slender body. If he didn't have that large beard, he would still be a handsome man. Big bearded man saw Sima Yue sizing him up and immediately asked, Don't you think I'm more handsome when I have a beard? I've never seen you without a beard, so I can't compare. But Sima Yue looked at those eager eyes and said honestly, I think you're more handsome without a beard. More handsome without a beard? Big bearded man said. You don't know how to appreciate it. This is called male beauty. With a beard, I look more manly. Someone like you who doesn't have a single strand of beard looks very feminine. Not as handsome as me. Sima Yue felt 3 black lines slide down the back of her head. Why did this guy drag her into this? And his sense of beauty was really different from normal people. Seeing Sima Yue like this, Blue Blade explained. Qi Wei's appreciation of beauty and handsomeness is different from normal people, so cough cough, don't mind. I won't mind. Sima Yue smiled. What were you guys talking about just now? Qi Wei asked curiously. We were talking about the current situation. Zhou Lan said. We're trapped here alone without help, and there are people from the ghost realm chasing after us. There's no use hiding here, we have to think of a way. That's right. Ah. A sharp scream came from the courtyard behind them. Zhou Lan and the others immediately stood up and said, It's Yu Qing's voice, go and see what's happening. Zhou Lan and the others quickly ran over. Sima Yue, Little Meng and Chongming were not in a hurry and slowly followed behind. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Please report it. Thank you everyone. Chapter 760. The following is provided for you. 760. Please enjoy. Everyone ran to the small courtyard at the back. Zhou Lan immediately rushed into the house while Blue Blade and Qi Wei stayed outside and did not enter. Yu Qing, what happened? Blue Blade asked from outside. The white-clothed youth from before had rushed out of the house and hadn't even buttoned his jacket properly. The moment he came out, he anxiously asked, What's wrong? What happened? It's nothing. Zhou Lan's voice came from inside, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. It's really nothing? Qi Wei said worriedly. You guys wait outside for a bit. Zhou Lan said. Then we'll wait. Blue Blade said to Qi Wei and Sima Yue. Seeing that the person wasn't dressed properly, he said, Minglang, why aren't you putting on your clothes properly? Xian Minglang pouted and quickly put on his clothes. At this time, Zhou Lan's voice came from inside saying, Come in. Everyone went in and saw a large bathtub in the house. Yu Qing and Zhou Lan were standing to the side. What happened just now? Blue Blade asked. Actually, it's nothing. Yu Qing's face was red as she said. I just saw a rat and got a fright. Qi Wei immediately laughed saying, A rat? Yu Qing, it's not that I want to criticize you, but you're still a spirit master. How could you be afraid of a small creature like a rat? Yu Qing's face turned even redder as if she could resist water, saying, That. Alright, Qi stopped laughing. Yu Qing has been afraid of rats since she was young. It's not like you don't know. Blue Blade saw Yu Qing's expression and spoke in a low voice. It was to give Yu Qing a way out. Yu Qing didn't say anything else because it wasn't easy to say it. She couldn't say that she was almost attacked by a spirit beast in front of a group of men, right? This place is completely empty. It's a bit scary for a rat to suddenly appear. Moreover, this rat isn't just a little big. It's much bigger than a normal spirit rabbit. Zhou said. That's right. It's so scary. If you suddenly saw it, you would definitely be scared. Yu Qing said. I'm not you. Qi crossed his arms and snorted. If it was Qi, he would definitely subdue it and let it show off in front of us. Zhou said. Senior Sister Zhou, you don't need to know me so well. Qi said with a grin. Well, Sima Yue interrupted their happy conversation and said, I have a question. Young Master Sima, please speak. Blue Blade said. That. Sima Yu pointed at the rat that was beaten to the ground and asked, There are no spirit beasts in the entire city, nor are there any humans. Where did such a big little rat come from? That's right. Blue Blade frowned. There were no living creatures when we entered the city. Where did this rat come from? Zhou and the others were also silent. For a spirit mouse to suddenly appear in an empty city, it was strange no matter how they thought about it. Chongming. Sima Yue called out. Chongming came out from behind her and walked around the room. Then he closed his eyes and sensed. What is he doing? Qi looked at Chongming curiously. Don't speak. Blue Blade glanced at him, and he immediately swallowed the rest of his words. Chongming sensed for a while, and came in front of a wall. After feeling around for a while, he found a brick and pressed it down. Then the wall beside him shrank to the side and opened up a path. Seeing this, everyone understood what was below them. They never thought that there would be a basement. Let's go down and take a look, Sima Yue said. All right. The stairs were not high. It was only 20 or so steps. Below them was a tunnel. There were several oil lamps on both sides of the tunnel. Sima Yu moved her finger and a cluster of flames flew out, passing over every oil lamp. The lamps were all lit up and the entire tunnel lit up. Everyone walked in for a while. Qi, who was walking in front, said, There's a barrier in front. We can't go in. Let me take a look. Zhou was behind Qi. She pulled him aside and walked to the front. She stretched out her hand and was blocked by an invisible barrier. Why would there be a barrier here? Yu Qing asked curiously. Naturally, it was left behind by Master. Blue Blade said. If there wasn't this, how could we not have discovered this secret underground room? Sima Yue walked to the front and touched the barrier, saying, This is indeed a barrier that can isolate auras. However, this barrier requires a large amount of energy. It can't be maintained for long. You know quite a bit about barriers. We didn't even know that there were different types of barriers. Zhou said. That's right. You're amazing. Yu Qing looked at Yue with admiration. It's all right. Sima Yue smiled. This was all taught to her by Little Roar in the Spirit Pagoda. She did not know this herself. Eldest senior brother, can you break this? Qi asked. Let me try. Blue Blade took out his sword. It's useless, Sima Yue said. Why? Yu Qing asked. Because this barrier will absorb all the attacks from the outside. Otherwise, how could the people outside not discover this place? Sima Yue said. Then what do we do? When we encounter this, we can only wait for the energy to be depleted or wait for the people inside to come out. Sima Yue said. Is there no other way? Zhou looked at the corner of the tunnel with slight disappointment. There is, but I don't think you guys have the conditions. Sima Yue said. What other way is there? It's fine as long as you're naturally immune to barriers. Sima Yue said. How is that possible? Xian Minglang pouted. Why is it not possible? Sima Yue said. You guys wait here. I'll go in and take a look. Sima Yue said as she kept Chong Ming and Little Dream. She called out Little Roar and fused with him before stepping into the barrier. She really went in. Xian Ming Lang stared at Sima Yue with his eyes wide open as he watched her turn into the back. I tried just now, but I couldn't enter this barrier. I didn't expect her to really go in, Qi Wei said. She said that she can enter as long as she's naturally immune to barriers. Could she be that kind of person? She's not, but her spirit beast should be. Blue Blade said. But spirit beasts can, but she can't go in, Yu Qing said. Do you guys still remember that 100 years ago, Red Blade's master fought with someone outside the sect? Blue Blade asked. Of course we remember. Because one of Red Blade's disciples violated the sect's rules and did something bad, Red Blade's master was kept in the dark. He protected her and fought with that person on Mount Everest. In the end, he heavily injured Red Blade's master. In the end, the two of them became good friends, Qi Wei said. At that time, that person's strength was not as good as Red Blade's master, but he defeated him. He used a skill that we don't know. Fusion, Blue Blade said. And that person is called Sima Lu Yun. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.